live
what?
on all
I'm not allowed
platforms,
to
it should
talk
be.
about how hot Kyrie was.
That's illegal. That's illegal.
This is silencing.
That's a crime. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Okay, and then I'll post about this stuff. Post
You're going
there.
to down bed, Jill.
Down horrendous.
Going down right the hell.
Maybe so.
But Garcia was worth it though. This is the problem.
It was only worth it if Kyrie shoots me in the face. Okay, you know what? If I like thirst after Kyrie and then I die of old age, and then I go to hell for thirsting after Kyrie, then it wasn't worth it. As long as she beats the shit out of me and is the reason that I die, then it was worth it.
You know, it's occurred to me. Maybe we should have got someone else to record that line. I think it should have been you and Ryan.
Say the line, Shadow. Say the line, Shadow.
I'm not gonna say it.
Bro, why is
I have to do my homework.
No, you have to do book club. Why did you come here to do homework?
Or
What are you,
the other
5?
thing. Yeah. Wait, what does being 5 have to do with me doing my homework during book club?
Because you wait till book club to do your homework.
I've been doing my homework all fucking day. I'm just
Why is it not done?
with it yet.
Finish your homework. Get it done already. Get it twisted.
Was this what Kyrie would have wanted, huh? Is
Yeah.
it?
I'm pretty sure Kyrie would have wanted me dead.
Kyrie wants the gold, okay? Do you have gold for Kyrie to take?
No.
Then
I have
Kyrie probably
$18
doesn't care.
and I have $18 in my bank account, and I'm considering using it to DoorDash Oreos so I can have Oreos and
What?
milk for stream snack.
Can you be
No.
used as a means for Kyrie to get close to Rudolph? If not, she probably doesn't care.
Ew, no, I would never fuck Rudolph. Disgusting.
I mean, that's not what that would have even remotely meant, but okay. You would have been the first to kill, but okay.
You telling
Wait.
me to not spend money on Oreos has not changed my need for Oreos. I think I'm gonna go
Wait,
with
what's wrong with Oreos? We got a problem with Oreos?
No, I'm saying that's just very frivolous to DoorDash because there's so many fees with DoorDash.
Wait, you DoorDashed Oreos? Hold on, I didn't hear that part.
No. I haven't DoorDashed anything yet. I'm
Yes,
just strongly
yes.
considering it.
You're considering DoorDashing fucking Oreos? Bro.
Ew. I was wondering why nobody reacted to
Bro,
that.
I didn't catch that part of the discussion.
sorry.
Hold on.
I'm ignorant. I don't know.
DoorDash is a service where they will buy your shit and then deliver it to you.
Do you have Postmates or like Uber Eats, Shadow?
No.
They are
Sorry,
services where
sorry,
somebody
I
else.
forgot you're an alien. Sorry.
These are services where somebody will do the shopping of these things for you, and it adds a ton of fees and then delivery costs or whatever for the driver for it.
Look, man, I just go buy this shit myself. I just walk over to the
Well, I
pharmacy.
can't. I'm at book club, and I would have done it before book club, but there was a gas leak at my house, and I wasn't allowed to start my car.
Well, that's a skill issue. Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't have been surprised if you were like calling in from your car while driving there to go pick up the Oreos for book club, just completely ignoring the fact that book club's happening to go pick up Oreos. I wouldn't be surprised about that.
If I had been in a situation where I was going to be stuck outside for like another hour, I would have joined book club while I was outside on my phone and just been muted unless I had something to say.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did when I went to Otakon.
Anyway, no, I haven't DoorDashed Oreos yet. I'm just saying that I want to. But first, I'm doing my homework.
Wow. Okay. All right, I got this in place. Okay, we got all. Oh yeah, I gotta do this ping. Boom! You just got frickin' pinged.
I got pinged.
You got pinged. I had to move around the cover, rotate the cover around until I got it right for
Your rotation?
a decent. Because I was like, I wanted to show Will the background image too. I wanted to show Will, but Will's got the fucking giant sword. I also wanted to show Claire, but Claire's higher up. So I'm like, how the fuck do I do this? So I had to like turn it and then focus it in some way. So we got both of them there. And soon, we will have our PNG Umineko tubers for discussions for episode 8, just in time. For those of you listening to the pre-show memes, we still have a couple minutes before we start because of the ad break stuff. We've commissioned an artist who does the Umineko style works and had them do Umineko avatars of all of our stuff. And we've been shown the sketches, and they look amazing. So they're working on the final details. They did. I did think about this the other day, and I think I mentioned it to Ari in voice chat last night or something like that, about how... well, yeah, for each of our characters, we wanted them to have like a talking version, because we wanted to be PNG tubers. We could set them up with the thing so that it looks like we're talking when we talk. Shadow's character does not have a mouth that's visible, so so Shadow's character like wears a mask type thing that like covers his whole face. So they messaged me today asking about that, and I was like, probably just have like the eyes change or the head move a bit. And they said, okay, I'll do it.
Can my character wink?
We're
it's
not
talking.
Yeah, it's a talking thing. We're not having you wink every time you say something.
Why not?
It'd be funny though.
We're not setting this up in like fucking live 2D. We're not rigging these full things. We're just having 2 sprites, one of which we are not talking, one where we are talking, okay? We're not fully rigging these models.
Real quick, while we're doing pre-show.
What's going on?
Can I find a talking sprite of him real quick while you're doing pre-show?
I mean, you can, but I've already told them to just do something with the eyes or the head. It won't change anything about what they do, but... I mean, if you want to send those, you can, but I don't know. Also, every time I try to look up Shadow Man, there's like versions that are not your Shadow Man, so...
Well,
yeah, I know. But like the main one, when I look up Shadow Man, is like the blue one.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you blue? But
What's wrong with you?
But he has a mouth that's visible. The blue one, or the purple one doesn't. Wait, so what is he supposed to look like when he's talking, though?
Like, the mask slightly moves.
Oh, well, that's not going to be helpful here.
Okay.
If it's an Umineko style, I don't know if that's going to be helpful.
Alright, that's fair.
But yeah, so they're probably going to either do something with the eyes or just have your head move slightly, and then that'll work for that. So I am excited for those. Okay. I think the ad break started, so we have 2 minutes before those end, and then we can officially start. I don't like Twitch. The other day, okay, yesterday actually, I was doing streams and I was messing with some OBS stuff, and the OBS crashed in the middle of it.
They have break?
OBS, yes.
What the fuck?
What are you talking about?
Hello?
Oh no.
All right, so Shadow is having an issue. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay,
No,
so
I
Shadow.
can hear you.
So Shadow's having an issue. All right.
Okay, I'm good now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right,
Earth
basically. And then
Shadow. Earth Shadow.
I was here to.
Satellite reaching us.
I was
Mega
mentioning.
Man series, Ari, get your shit right.
I was mentioning how my OBS shit broke last night mid-stream, and then shit on your end broke at the same time. You know, I feel like that's a sign. So
Stop
yeah.
talking about things breaking. Yes.
So I went to. Oh my god! Hold on. We have a kick chatter. Our favorite chatters here.
No way.
Pashy 4567. Hello, great streamer. You stream so really well. Thumbs up, heart emoji. That's why I followed you. I do see you streaming a lot, but yet still not affiliated and partnered. I got a proposal for you. I will share your stream to a Kick community for you to hit 1,000 followers within 700 views and earn nothing less than $1,000 per streaming and enable your sub button. Add me on Discord if you're interested.
This is the one from last stream. You can't fool us.
No, this one's new. They just followed 5 minutes ago. You might be thinking to yourself, but Chap, that sounds like the same exact message from last week. And it probably is. But this is in fact not from last week. This is a new person who is now banned. Don't worry. Okay. We also have Minmon in the YouTube chat. OMG, yes. Lock door dash. Beatrice's favorite service. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying about the Twitch stream stuff. So, OBS broke in the middle of my stream. And so I started up again, and when I did, Twitch considered it like a new stream. Here's the problem. Every time you start a stream, it will start ads. Like a couple minutes after you start. It will start ads, no matter what. And so it did this when it restarted the stream, even though ads had just played like 5 minutes before OBS crashed. Which is bullshit.
Got it.
It's just bullshit.
Which always wins. I don't know what to tell you.
So I've decided every 5 minutes I'm just gonna press the play 3 minutes of ads button on Twitch, and you guys can just get served ads forever until you sub to me. Okay, that's how that works. Speaking of Twitch, thank you so much. Just in time for all the ad spam. Thank you so much for the follow, Minmod. Oh my god. Oh god, you did the anime recommend redeem? I mean, we got some time before we start, I guess. What genre are you looking for? You got genre you like? I can give you anime recommend.
Have you heard of Umineko?
Have you heard of have you heard of Umineko? I hear the anime is interesting, you know. I haven't seen it.
It has some unique qualities to it.
I hear the Higurashi animes are also interesting with
Better?
you know, interesting.
No, strong reward.
Better?
Also, we hit 690 followers on Twitch. Well, now it's 691, but we hit the nice number. Wow. Can you believe it? Something like a mystery or a fantasy. Ooh, what do we got for
have you heard of Umineko?
maybe set on an island? Well, I got just the thing for you. It's called Summertime Rendering. Yeah, let's go. Listen, I haven't actually finished the anime for Summertime Rendering, but the first couple episodes I watched were pretty based. So, I mean, we read the manga for book club, so the manga was interesting. The end was a whole thing, but the anime is probably... Anime was a pretty chill time, pretty cool time when I played it, or not played it. It has a VN, by the way, but it has a VN, so you can play it. And it has a character that was not in the anime or the manga as a part of it. Yeah, the Summertime Rendering visual novel is all the anime sprites, and I think it's largely based on the anime, but it's supposed to have like a new character in it, but it's never been translated, and never will be. So that doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't mean shit.
Never will be.
It's just like New Game. New Game's Child Stages never get translated, but I want it to be. Wait, Summertime Rendering. Was this on the PS4? Visual novel.
The end's on PS4?
I mean,
Part
yes.
of the Woods is on PS4.
You Shadow, just a lot of VNs are only on the PS4 or PS Vita and not on PC at all. I know, it's surprising.
It explains a lot, actually. This only makes a lot more sense. Nor the Singer VN I played was on the PSP.
Yeah, it's Summertime Rendering Another Horizon. I don't know if the story gets significantly changed, but I know there's a new character in it that was not in the original story. A real escape game and video game. Oh, so it has like an escape room thing in real life too. And it also had a live action project? Or is getting a live action project for Summertime Rendering? Oh my god.
Those are surprisingly popular in Japan.
Hell yeah.
Live
We gotta watch the Summertime Rendering anime before we try out all that other stuff. Yes, okay, so Summertime Rendering Another Horizon was on the PS4 and the Switch. Ooh. But it's only in Japanese, so if you know it, you can play it. Enjoy. Alright. I think we are ready to go. No gas leaks happening here, right? We're good to go.
No more gas
Not yet.
leaks.
No gas
Not
leaks,
yet.
NASA free gas. No more. Okay. All right. Let's get started then. Where's the button? Where is my button? Here we go. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. We are back discussing Umineko When They Cry, the manga. The end of episode 7, Requiem of the Golden Witch. That's the title we're still on, right? And we are discussing the final 3 volumes. But before we get into that, let's introduce everybody who's here to the discussions this week. Starting in alphabetical order with me, Battlerborg, a.k.a. Wolfborg, a.k.a. Chaplain, a.k.a. the best anime book club host ever of all time. I've been the only host of this podcast, and I gotta say I've been the best one, too. The best one. Undeniably. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I would recommend. I don't know what I would recommend. I would recommend not Guilty Crown. I was watching a couple episodes of Guilty Crown in some other server earlier, and the first 2 episodes were mid. And in the past I've seen the first 4 episodes of Guilty Crown, and I don't remember much that happened afterwards. But when I look at my thing, it says I gave it a 4 and dropped it 4 episodes in. So I think that tells you a lot. So.
And I was there, and my God, was it an anime?
I don't remember shit, but things happened. Things happened to Guilty Crown, so I would not recommend that. So that's an anti-recommend. Do I have any actual recommends? I recommend you check out Call of the Night. Call of the Night's pretty cool. I didn't check out more of the manga yet. I think I have the first 3 volumes of the manga. I've read the first 2. That was pretty cool. Go check out Call of the Night. The anime was sick. And next up we have Shadow Man. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shadow. The thing I recommend is Umineko.
Whoa! What? Wow. The anime,
That means
right?
you
The
like
anime,
it.
right?
No, the manga.
Oh, okay, all right. Wow, I can't wait. If Shadow's recommending the Umineko manga, that means he's on his way to be playing the Umineko visual novel soon. Sound novel. He's gonna be playing it pretty soon.
He's got 1 GN. Okay, hold on. You guys slow down.
Well, your second one's gonna be Umineko, and what just jump
Only
right
a
into
million
it.
words long.
That's it. That's all there is.
150 hours.
You know what is shorter, Shadow? Homestuck. Homestuck is only, I think, like 860,000 words. As long as you don't read the epilogues.
I mean, that's basically episodes 1 through 7. Like, it's shorter.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Naya Bacon. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ryan Bacon. You may also hear me referred to as Andy, and you, hashtag not sponsored, you should play Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's very fun.
Actually, I don't.
Wowie.
Okay. All right. One recommend, one anti-recommend. That's fine. Okay. Oh, we have a message in the YouTube chat. Guilty Crown felt like it was trying to jump on Code Geass fame / hype and felt like pale imitation. Yes, and this will not be the first nor last time that we bring up Code Geass tonight. Okay, we got Code Geass things to bring up later on. Don't worry, it's for Umineko. Okay.
No.
All right. Next up, we have Arimia. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Arimia. I like shonen shit and visual novels. I don't really have any recommendations. I've been playing. What was that laugh? Huh?
I stole your recommendation. That's why.
I've been playing a lot of like very indie games, but so I really don't really have any recommendations. When I say that, I mean like games you cannot get online anymore, so I can't recommend them because you can't play them. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? I recommend Pokemon Rumble, and you can't play that anymore.
No, you can find that on probably some archive sites.
Oh yeah, yours is more obscure than okay. I see.
Yes.
I can't find anything. I can't even read.
I can't read.
Like skill issue.
Wow. Amazing. All right. And we are now here to discuss Umineko When They Cry, the end of episode 7. We finally finished episode 7, but that's not the end of Umineko. We have a whole other episode to do after this one. Yeah, 3 more weeks of Umineko. 3 more. Yeah, just one more. Just one more. There's definitely not 4 more episodes hiding somewhere for us to, for it to pop out.
There's
Even
no
Tsubasa
Umineko
is
show.
only like, I don't know how long Tsubasa is, but I think it's only like 20,000 words long. It was pretty short.
I had
so.
a discussion with Cronus, who's also in this server and in another server I'm in, and he had mentioned, he was talking to me the other night, and he said something about Umineko When They Cry part, like the second part, is technically not supposed to be called the Answers arc. It's supposed to be called the Core arc or something like that. And
Yeah.
he said that that's why it will feel like at times you are not being given answers when you were expecting answers already, but that they kept it
understand.
called Answers Arc in the English translation, even though it's technically not
Yeah.
supposed to be answers. So
So
that
then why
explains
do you, what you're
that
telling me?
explains why we still aren't, why it still took us forever to be like, oh, who is this character? It's been Shannon for like 3 fucking weeks now. We've known, but it's
Well,
like, but is it really though? Who could it possibly be?
So yeah, Cheater is usually because it's Umineko no Kokoroni, which is the first 4 episodes, and then Umineko no Kokoroni Chiru, which is the last 4 that we've been reading, and that's usually translated more as like unraveling or something along the lines of that, rather than just answers.
Okay.
But
All right.
now
But
that we are at the end of episode 7, as we see it, the end of episode 8, it will be it's just a Halloween party, just a fun little party. It's gonna be fun.
nothing
can't
will
wait.
go wrong.
Episode 7, the end of episode 7, the story will go on assuming that you know who the culprit is. You know who the culprit is and most of their motives, if not all of them, because there will be in the manga there will be a special section at the end where we get a fuller explanation on her motives, but at this point, who is the culprit?
It's Battler.
It was me. I did it. I committed the Rokujima murders.
Shadow found out my joke that I was gonna do.
Oh
I
my
was gonna
god.
say, tell me the true name of the culprit, and then I was gonna go, it's Battler Ishimi.
Oh no.
I stole it.
So what is the true name of the culprit?
The true name? I mean, so
Is it Walter White? What's
if
going on here? What
so
kind of
my
joke is this?
so my assumption right now is that it is Shannon / Cannon / Claire / Beatrice / okay, the amalgamation of all these things, right? So whatever their true name is, my guess is it has to do with a combination of Shannon and Cannon's real names, which were Sayo and something else, Yo something.
Yoshia.
Yoshia. So it's probably a combination of those things. I don't know how exactly it works, but that's my guess, given that these are the 2 characters we were presented throughout most of the narrative, and that they had an actual real name. So I don't know how exactly it's combined, but it's probably something like that. That's my guess.
Anyone else?
Wow.
Jap is locking in Shannon and Cannon as the culprit. Anyone else wanna go?
Wait. Oh wait.
Is anyone
Wait.
else here?
Wait, I thought the question was just what was their name. I was assuming that we all pretty much agree that it was Shannon, Cannon, and amalgamation. I thought the question was just I thought the question was just what was their actual name. It was always. Well, I mean, it's presented to us like it's Rudolph and Kyrie, but
Surely.
But
so the culprit's true name is
wait,
I had to
are we
go
supposed to
back.
know? Are we supposed to know this yet? Are you supposed to be telling us this, or are we supposed to read this in next week? What is this?
That's why I'm starting off. Like episode 8 is it's a party. It goes in assuming that you know who the culprit is.
Okay.
By name.
Her name really isn't. I'm trying to remember if it even comes. Like it definitely comes. I think it comes up towards the end of episode 8. But it's basically just a confirmation of.
It was Diana all along.
Really. I mean, if you don't want me to say it, I won't. But
No,
then
it
I'll
was
just
the
won't.
phone
Then I
that
just won't
Battler
acknowledge who the
threw.
culprit is.
I just don't know if we're supposed to know this thing yet, or like I'm so confused.
Arumi is saying that we are supposed to know.
But like,
But, it also sounds like it's not Shannon / Cannon / Beatrice / Claire / Yasuo. And so now I'm like, what the fuck?
This is my true intention, sowing discourse.
Well, so
well, now I
chaos.
just don't know if you're about to spoil shit for us or not. I don't know what's happening here.
Okay, we'll just keep calling her Yasu then.
Okay, all right. I mean, because that's what they were calling her.
Well, the name is said in episode 1.
Okay.
but not the full name.
Okay.
I went back and
Ah,
at least
so
in the
Sayo.
manga. Yeah.
So it's Sayo. So
Sayo.
Shannon's real name is Sayo. Like I said, it was a combination of Sayo and something else probably.
No, it's just Sayo. But it's
No.
like they're all the
Just Sayo. I don't have a last name.
My name's Dog. Just
Well,
Dog.
her last name isn't a spoiler because we've already been told it, but you're like, well, I don't know if we should know this or not.
Well, okay. Well, all right, fine. What is it? What is it? What is it? Is it Sayo Ushiromiya? Like, what is this shit?
Sayo Yasuda is the true culprit.
Okay. Okay. So Yasuda being the shortened version of Yasu. Okay.
Yasu. Yeah.
But that's not Canon's name, right? Yeah, his was Yoshia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was wrong about that aspect of it, but okay. So it's instead of
That's
Yasu, it's Yasuda. All right.
But Canon's not real.
Well, but that's where
True.
yeah, but that's where I was trying to think of like, okay, well, probably if they're like like somebody pretending to be two different servants or whatever, then they're probably whatever their real names are. It's probably just a combination of that, but I guess not.
I think there's always going to be different theories of a lot of the smaller parts of Umineko because there's just too much for Ryukishi to confirm, and he just didn't confirm a lot of it.
Right.
I think one interpretation I've seen is that that's just Battler trying to come up with a name for Canon because he knows that Canon isn't real. So he's just like, here is a name for you because names are a very important thing in Umineko. You are now you have a name so that you can be a person and not just tied to Shannon.
Okay. What did we learn here?
The true culprit is Battler.
Finally.
What are you talking
Finally.
about?
Finally. I can't believe your whole bit was ruined instantly by Shadow, though. I can't believe that.
No, I ruined it yesterday.
He ruined it
Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Damn.
Shove me before the professional bit ruiner.
All right, let's rewind a bit, though. Let's rewind a bit. And let's talk about the series of events leading up to the reveals. We got plenty of reveals in air quotes, where it was like more straight up telling you certain things, but not fully showing you exactly how those things happen later on.
Which I was shocked.
So, okay. The first thing we have was the last scene from last week was the whole Shannon putting on the Beatrice outfit after finding the gold and then going up to Kinzo's study. All the servants are doing the whole, this is actually your child, Kinzo. You are actually the child of Kinzo and Beatrice. Well, technically Beatrice's daughter. We won't get into that detail to you, but you are the child of them. You've been hidden in secret. Kinzo's dying. So, you know, just put on the outfit and forgive him for a little bit and make him happy. And I wrote this in chat in the spoiler zone as soon as this happened. He was like, oh, thank you. Please call me father one more time. And then he just fucking dies. Kinzo just dies instantly. And when I say he dies instantly,
As he should.
he dies instantly. And Nanjo's just like, oh yeah, I guess I should check that.
He just sees him collapse and he's like,
like Natsuhi is like looking at him and he's just like, oh yeah, I should check that. like damn, how much of an actor was he in retirement when it came to being a doctor? He just stopped, like, that's why Kinzo died. He stopped being a real doctor, so he just died because his doctor wasn't looking at him.
Counter argument, okay?
Oh yeah.
The whole thing with this is without love it cannot be seen, right?
Yeah.
And no one loves Kinzo, clearly.
Damn.
But
Damn.
what's not shown is Shannon just stabbing Kinzo immediately.
That's what I was hoping for.
As she should.
I was hoping for that. I was hoping for it, but you know. All right, so Kinzo just kind of dies, and they're all just like, "Well, you're in charge of the Ushiromiya family now, Beatrice / Shannon / Yasu / whatever you want to call yourself right now."
Sayo.
Whatever the fuck.
And Sayo,
Sayo.
and Sayo's just like, "Okay, but I don't want it. I don't need this shit. Actually, I just want to wait for Battler. I just want to wait for Battler. So can you like pretend like none of this happened?" And they're like, "Oh, all right. Well, I mean, we'll still like do whatever the fuck you tell us at all times. which is later on utilized, it seems, to be like, oh, you want us to start killing family members? Oh, we'll do it. Oh, you want us to make up shit? You want us to make up shit about what's happening? Oh, we'll do it. No problem. Yes, queen. Yes, we'll do it.
Yes, queen.
We'll do it. No problem. Say less. And so
Definitely part of like wanting Battler to come back is definitely part of it, but it's also like she is definitely afraid of Kraus and Natsuhi's like repercussions of
Right.
it. So like she is just afraid of them.
yeah.
Which honestly, fucking fair. Especially Natsuhi.
Well,
Yeah, because
I mean,
for a decade, like half a decade at this point, she's been working underneath them for almost every day of her life, you know?
sure. It's one of those things though where I just think to myself like, yeah, but like you could still talk to them about it and be like, so I don't actually want this thing. Can I just get like a little bit of money and then go leave so I don't have to do this anymore? But she seemed more like influenced. I mean, that was probably a factor in it, but she seemed far more influenced by the fact of she's still waiting for Battler. Was like a driving force in her doing that, I think. But it was one of those things, though, where I'm just like, sure, Kraus and Natsuhi are a little concerning in that respect, but are they really that concerning in that respect? It sounded like any servant could just fucking leave at any point if they wanted to, so she could just take some gold and just leave if she wanted to, but she wanted to
But
stay.
they wanted her to be the successor. They wanted her to step up to be the head of it right then and there. And
Well,
like I think part of it is also that by this point, she has already created this whole fantasy of pretending to be Bito for a few years at that point, and also creating canon as a however you want to interpret that, as a headmate, as just a person that she can vent her frustrations to that's not really there, just however you want to interpret that. Like she's already created these kind of different versions of herself. So she's not really who really is she at this point in time when she gets told all of a sudden, hey, your dad is Kenzo, your mom is Beatrice, and you're the head of the Ushiromiya family. All of this gold is yours. This entire island is yours. Let's go tell your employers to kick them out.
It also, like, all that stuff is one thing. It makes it even worse when they're like, also, wear this outfit. You have to look exactly like Beatrice as you go do this thing. At a time where Shannon has already gone through all these different, like, either identities or, like, personalities that she could communicate with and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, well, this is, like, adding on to that. Where there's a lot going on when it comes with, like, the different identities of Sayo. So we have Sayo, we have Claire, we have Beatrice, we have Shannon, and Cannon. So that's like 5 at least, right? There's a lot going on there.
Shannon is kind of like her default, you know?
Yep.
But you can still like
default skin.
Well, Yasu used to be her default till she just became a witch and flew away. Okay. So that whole sequence happened. Shannon's like, just keep doing all the things you guys are doing. We don't have to mention this in Nazi and Kraus. Everything could be fine. Everything is fine. And that's when we cut back, I think, to the quote real world or whatever, the chapel where Will, the Beatrice funeral metaphorical world thing or whatever, where Will's like, all right, well, that's all the shit, right? Are we good? And Bernkastle's like, all right, you can leave now, I think. Oh no, wait.
No, they have to fight.
There's a whole scene. Yes, they had, because it's a funeral, so they gotta put Beatrice to rest. They gotta put her to rest by solving all the mysteries. In quotes, I'm doing quotes, which you still can't see. So it's a series of. So Will pulls out his sword. Okay, he's got a sword. Why not? Of course, he's got a sword. All right, he's an
inquisitor.
He's got an inquisitor
has
sword.
2 swords. He gets one.
He's got his sword. His sword looks like a spatula type deal. I don't know. What does it look like? It looks like something I'd see in like a sci-fi anime thing with how it looks like. It looks like a circuit board sword thing. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Board.
Yeah, let me get a CG of it.
Yeah. And so they're doing their back and forth against Claire. Claire's got a sword too, apparently. It looks basic. And they're duking it out logically between all the games. So we're going through each of the games for the first 4 games at least, and presenting. Okay, how did this mystery thing happen? What
for the games
explain
that,
this
that
body.
Claire would have been the one that set up.
Yes.
Episodes 1 through 4, yes.
Right. And for all the cases, he's like answering things like illusion to illusion, soil to soil, whatever it says, ash to ash, dust to dust, whatever the fuck it's saying. But it's also showing us like some text next to it that is explaining more in detail what it's meant by that in that scene. Now, you had mentioned in the server that that's not supposed to be there. Can you elaborate?
None of that shit is there.
Because
So,
that seems like a pretty big fucking detail to add in.
literally, this entire scene in the VN is Claire going, like, episode 1, the shed.
First game, first night.
First game, first night, and Will goes, illusions to illusions. And she goes, all right. Second night. He goes, earth to earth. And then, it's literally just that back and forth. You get none of these details of how the crimes could have possibly been committed. Because the illusions to illusions versus earth to earth, those were his hints, Rikishi's hints to readers as to how the crimes were committed in the way that he intended. Because before this, there were, obviously just tons of theories of how these crimes could have been committed, because one of the tenets of this whole thing has been that a human can commit these crimes. All of the crimes you were seeing in episodes 1 through 4 were able to be committed by a human, or humans. So like some of the theories were like, in episode 1, Cannon kills himself in the boiler room, but here we see at least Will's interpretation of it is that Cannon survived and Nanjo was just faking the death, because one of the mystery tenets is that the doctor cannot give a false confirmation of death unless the doctor is in on it. So unless the doctor is a culprit, the word of the doctor, whatever he says, how they died or did not, that is supposed to be taken at face value.
Right. And that, I mean, that's also one of those things where when I'm reading through some of the hints that they're trying to give for like their explanations for what happened in certain scenes, I was largely trying to ignore the whole, like, once we introduced Erica and like the rules or whatever, I was trying to ignore that because that was in like the episodes before or the episodes after the ones that were being explained these things. So I was trying not to focus too much on some of the ironclad rules, like the detective can't be the culprit and shit like that. Even if they might have been an influence on like how you're supposed to perceive some of these things, but when we're being told the answers for what those first ones were, I was trying to be like, okay, so I should not like worry too much about some of those rules. But so I was actually glad to hear. In a way, it's kind of like, I don't know why they included these additional things here if they weren't even supposed to be shown to us yet.
These were specifically because at this point the VN had been out for a bit, and by the time it got to these parts in the manga, Ryukishi wanted to add these in as extra clarification, as well as parts we'll see later. So these are specifically things that he wanted in it. Okay,
all right. So he wanted these in it, but at the time in the original visual novels release, these were not in it, and he wished he could have gone back and add them in. So that's why these are added in here.
Possibly, maybe he just wanted one version to have more clarification than others, or maybe he regretted it later on. Who knows? But
I was wondering, because if they didn't have the text there, I was wondering then, when I saw you mentioning that these aren't in there at all. I was wondering like how this would have like would it be the same exact panels, but you just don't have the text next to it, and you're just supposed to just figure out what he meant by it, like illusion to illusion.
No, you don't see any of that. No.
Yeah, because
it's just Claire and Will on the screen.
Because in Umineko you said there's like no CGs or whatever. It's just like those two people talking or whatever. Like those two sprites may be talking in a spot.
Did it break again? What the fuck happened here?
I don't fix it. Fix it, Shadow.
Fix it.
Okay, so what I was getting at though is like I am glad to hear that these weren't in the visual novel originally, because I was probably going to be a little bit upset if these were all the answers we were going to get for those, and episode 8 was not actually going to go through each of the games and what happens with them. I was going to be a little upset if we were just given these little blurbs about what happened and not physically being shown all the events of how it was set up for each of those. Because for some of these, I'm just like, I sort of remembered what was going on in that night or that game, but I don't remember what was said in red. I don't remember what the rules were with some of those. Like, I didn't remember some of the circumstances that made them more complicated than they were. So I was glad to find out that those things weren't even.
What we were getting.
Well, no, I was glad that we were. The reason why these weren't in the original is because the next episode is gonna go through them all. It has to, because if the original didn't have them in, it has to. It has to. You can't just leave them out, right?
The whole thing Ari was saying was the fact that Ryukishi put these in because he didn't provide those answers in the original visual novel.
Yeah, before the last episode.
I think Sandro mentioned that the manga includes a bunch of information that the visual novel didn't. The visual novel, or the manga, actually clarifies a bunch of stuff that the visual novel didn't. So those answers, that's all we get for that.
Well, no.
No,
okay.
that can't be the case. No, it has to go into more details about some of these. It has to.
For the murders, I think this might be all we get, because in the VN we don't even get this. You don't even get this part. But later on in the manga, there is, I think it's called the Confessions bit, where we do get more backstory on Sayo. That may go into how she planned some of these crimes. I have not read it, so I don't know. But as for the crimes themselves, you've already seen all that the visual novel has to cover for them.
Okay, never mind. I've changed my mind. I hate all this shit. I hate Umineko. You swayed me. At first I was like, oh, okay, this is fine then, because the next episode we're gonna get into more details about exactly what actually happened, like the full scenes. I'm gonna get to see them.
I'm not kidding. It's a party.
I don't know any of that yet. I've not looked at it yet. How you saying it's a Halloween party has not helped me in any way, shape, or form. What do you want from me?
It's what Battler said at the end. Anyway.
Okay. Again.
So, I think a way to look at this is because And Then There Were None was such a big inspiration for Umineko. The original release of that had no answers whatsoever. Now that did later end up having an answers added to the end of it in the form of the message in the bottle, which was a explicit not step by step, but a confession by the culprits, who did go through some of the crimes. I don't think they went through every single step, but they did go through most of them. So I look at this part as kind of him doing that, adding in a bit of how some of the crimes were committed, because some of these do give a lot more information than I thought they would have, but unless there's more, who knows? I don't know.
Why did you keep referring to this episode as an answers check?
Specifically for the culprits.
Okay.
Not the murders.
Okay. All right.
Because this is an answers check for the culprits, because that's the heart of it.
All right.
The heart? Holy shit.
The heart!
Well, still, Man, we're really not going to go through exactly what was happening in all of them. I understand you can piece it together. No, I just said, let me finish my fucking sentence. I just said, okay, I understand it has laid it out so that you can figure it out, but I expected it to go through each of them and show us the physical scenes for all of them. That's what I expected, okay? But no, apparently not. Apparently I can go fuck myself.
It might later. I don't know. I haven't seen the confessions part.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But for right now, if that's all we're getting for that, I'm going to be a little upset when it comes to that part of the story, at least. But that's fine. The other parts of it are
way
probably...
more than the VN, so...
Listen. I demand more. I demand more. Okay? I want all the answers. Every single answer. I want nothing unanswered. You know why we're not getting official answers? Okay, because Ryukishi's a fraud, and he knows that he messed up parts of the plot. That's it. That must be it. And he doesn't want to show us the full thing because he knows, wait a minute, I tried doing that, and it's all fucked up and weird, and it doesn't make any sense. It's gotta be that.
He made a logic error.
He's a fraud. Ryuku fraud. Whatever it said. Fraud something. Fraud's coming with that. We figured it out last week, but I can't figure it out. Ryuku fraud? I don't know. Anyways. Memes aside. So we had the little going through each of the nights. Now, I wrote down all the things that went over there, okay? I wrote down all the things, each of the nights, each of the things, all the things, okay?
Everything.
All the things. We're going to go over some of them here. Let's see what we remember, what we don't. We'll piece together it ourselves because
I don't remember shit.
Ryukishi's a fraud and won't show us the things himself, all right? Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay. All right. Let's go through this here. Will pulls out his sword, and we got first game, first night. The guard storehouse that had 6 bodies. At the very beginning of the story, it was like 6 people with like their heads beaten to shit. There was like Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Shannon, Goda, and somebody else, Rosa, I think.
Yeah.
So that one was, it's illusion to illusion. Eva and Hideyoshi were bought off by the true culprit, and the 6th body was a lie. So Eva and Hideyoshi were working with Sayo / Shannon. Shannon wasn't actually dead. That was either a fake body, I guess, or it was Shannon, but made to look like her face was smashed in or something. I don't know. It probably just was a different body. But
no, they specifically say that that only worked because George didn't ask to see her face, because none of them could see the face, and they saw Krause's face that was already smashed in, but her face was hid, and Hideyoshi told him, don't, you want to look at the face, just remember the last time you saw her smiling.
Yeah, because I was gonna mention like they were like holding back George so he couldn't get closer to see the face. I remember that.
I would interpret that as just her laying there pretending to be dead.
No, I understand. But what I was just saying when I was reading that, I was like, so it's either one of two things: it's either like a fake body or it's made to look like she's dead, but she's actually not there or whatever. So
yeah.
Okay. And then we go to first game, second night. The bodies of the 2 who are close in the room locked by the chain, which was Eva and Hideyoshi, who were previously bought off by Sayo. Now they're fucking dead from Sayo or somebody else or whatever. And the solution to the locked chain in their room was that the chain was never on the lock. The servants who said that it was were just lying. The chain was never actually in place. And they either lied about it having been in place when they got there, or they wouldn't have been able to put it in place when they're not in the room. But it's something to the effect of there was not actually a chain that was preventing the murder from happening there or whatever. That was the illusion to illusion there. That was like we see like a little shot of like Kanon and Genji standing in front of the door, and it says the servants conspired to provide a concocted story. From the start, the chain was never in place. So that's the like illusion that we had for that one. Now, I did notice, and I don't know if I was just misunderstanding this. You know how it's going through each of the nights, like first night, first game, second night. The second night refers to both Eva and Hideyoshi, Why did they not say second and third night? Does the second night include both of them?
No, because the second night is specifically the 2 that are close.
Okay, because I remember
So
the
it's 2
first night.
versus 1.
I remember the first night included 6 people. I didn't remember the second night did, but okay. So
Yeah.
the second night was those 2 together.
Second
now,
night is always 2.
Now the first game, fourth night. So that was the detail that I noticed, though. If the second night is mentioned, and then we skip to the fourth night. So what is the third night then? Who was the third night in the first game? What was I misremembering from that? Because at first I was getting confused. Did, like, Hideyoshi and Eva count as the third night? Or is that where we put, like, Kinzo in place there? But Kinzo comes up later on. So what's the third night?
Let me go back and see.
Because it would imply that there was a death that we didn't even notice happened. Perhaps one of the co-conspirators died at this point, and then it just was never discovered. I mean, Natsuki was supposed to die later on. I don't know.
Natsuki's the last death in
Right.
episode 1. It's the 6, and then Eva, Hideyoshi. All of the cousins live.
So the fourth night is where it goes. The elderly leader in his locked study, found in the burning cauldron. So that's when they find Kinzo.
Okay.
They find Kinzo, though, for the fourth night. So I'm just confused at what happened with the third night of the first game. What happened with that one? Oh, third is always praise my name. Oh. Wait, does that mean that there is no third night deaths ever? Wait, is that actually how that works? Wait, hold on. Wait.
Umineko epitaph.
Wait, hold on. So I'm looking for the second night stuff. Oh, that's true. Second
On
night
the
also
third
skips.
Twilight, those
Second night-
who
okay,
remain
I understand.
shall praise my noble name.
I understand. Second night also skips the third. Or I'm sorry. Second game also skips the third night. Okay, so that is consistent. I guess I just never noticed. Wait. At the end of the report things, did it always skip the third night and I just never noticed? Wait, hold on. I gotta check this. I didn't notice this before. Hold on. I'm cracking it. I'm cracking the code.
Umineko solved?
Umineko solved? Question mark? Let me see here. The ending Maria thing that showed the nights for episode 1. Wait, I'm on the wrong volume. God damn it. Okay, it was this one. Here we go. Okay. First night, second night, fourth night. Okay, all right. I didn't notice that little detail. All right. I mean, that makes sense with the epitaph. I just didn't realize when it came to announcing who's dead that we were skipping that. I didn't realize. All right. So anyways, so that one happened. And then the fourth night was confirming that Kinzo's body was found. And then the answer, which we already knew, was that Kinzo was already dead before the game even started. The first game, fifth night, the end of the boy who gave his breast to the stake, it just shows Cannon's dead body. And the answer was Nanjo checked the body, but he was a conspirator. So Cannon's death was fake. Cannon was still alive. Slash Sayo.
Sayu. Yeah.
But it's listed as Cannon, but we know that that's Sayo. Which Shannon was already dead anyways. So it was presented as Shannon had died earlier. And then for the rest of the night, they were pretending to be Cannon. And then now that Cannon's dead, now that they're able to do other things without anybody noticing. And then we go to the first game, 6th, 7th, and 8th nights. 3 bodies in the room where the girl sings. That was when Maria was singing. And she was like, I was just singing. Now everybody's dead. And it was just, Maria just lied. Maria just said whatever the culprit told her. Of course. Maria's just a child. Of course. I mean, Maria's a crazy occult child. She would just lie. Especially when it comes to Beatrice murders. Of course.
Yeah.
And that's
Mito
the
comes up to
culprit had
her.
the key.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Maria, you want to kill these servants? I got a song to teach you. And then Maria just calls up someone on the, what was it, Natsuhi, and just starts singing on the phone. I forget what it was.
Base department.
So that was the first game. The second game, I think after that point is where it gets a bit more convoluted, because then we started introducing the red text stuff, which meant there was a lot more rules that they had to be following, as opposed to the first episode where there was less. There was a lot more conspirator shit going on with that one. But okay, so then second game, Second game, first night. 6 locked in the chapel with belly split open. Rosa was bought off. All the servants and Nanjo are co-conspirators. And the lock on the door was an agreed upon story. So one of the main themes I noticed going through this stuff is that basically a lot of these is just all of the servants just conspired to murder everybody. Every time it was a different like iteration of who was bought off, which servant, or not which servant, which sibling was bought off, and which servants were co-conspirators because they will do anything Sayo says. Like, so
aside from Goda, like they're already conspirators.
Yeah.
But...
Yep. And the second game, it was like Rosa who was the sibling helping them out, which is why Rosa ended up being like the focus of the second game, I think. And then the second
that is one thing I was kind of like, do we really have to have like so many of these people bribed? But then at the same time, it's like, well, we saw the tea party for episode 7. I'm sure literally any of these people could have been bought.
It's one of those things that's funny too when I'm reading these. It's mostly like a lot of the times where the servants are just doing shit, and I'm just like, it's always a meme about saying the butler did it in detective mystery novels. And this case, it was not only was it just the butler did it was all of the butlers did it. All of them.
The butler did it.
There was like one cook that didn't know shit about what was happening, and he dies. And like, it's like, okay, all right. So, okay. Second game, second night. The bodies of the two are not meant to be close. I believe this was when Cannon and Jessica were somehow dead next to each other when they shouldn't have been near each other. And the answer was written as, Cannon's body does not exist. An illusion whose role is finished leaves no body behind. I didn't know what exactly that meant in context, because I didn't remember the context. But did that mean that it was Sayo pretending to be Cannon next to the body again, or did that mean there was never Cannon's body next to Jessica's body? I was very...
Second.
Yeah, there was never a body next to Jessica.
Because the context for that was that to play a trick on Battler, Bito removed Cannon's body from the scene after killing both of them. And so it was only Jessica there, even though both of them were dead.
Okay. What? Oh man, I'm gonna be really interested I'm not gonna go through it all now, but to go through each of these episodes and be like, okay, what were the red truths that were established for this scene, and like, how is it all explained by this detail happening? And in many of these cases, I might just be like, was Battler just that stupid enough to not ask her to say this in red?
Yeah.
Was Battler just that stupid? And did Battler just assume that a body was in the room, even though Beatrice didn't say? Like, now here was another question too, which I didn't know was an active trick being used every time she said something in red. When she said this person is dead, I didn't know if, in context of knowing there is a bomb, there's a massive series of explosives underneath the island that are going to kill everybody, if that meant she could say this person is dead as like a current status for how they are, and it doesn't matter if they died at that moment in time or not, because we could just say, yeah, Jessica is dead. Jessica is not actually dead, but she, in this current point in the story, but she will die, and so therefore I can say she is dead because right now she's dead, but, I didn't understand if that's a little trick that was happening too, because we find out later on about the series of explosives, which means everybody's fucking dying anyways. So, okay. All right. That was a little thing that I was trying to think about. Second game, 4th, 5th, 6th nights. None were found alive in Natsuhi's room, and it shows Shannon, George, and Goda dead in Natsuhi's room, which, looking at the photo now of like how they're showing it, I mean, I don't remember how it was shown in the actual scene, but it just looks like, Sayo is just, or Shannon is just dead, like lying down on the desk in a very I just killed myself position. I was like, that looks a little, is that how it was shown to us? Because I don't remember seeing it like that. But then it said Shannon killed Goda, and then George, and then committed suicide.
As you do.
Don't know if that means that Shannon literally committed suicide, or if it was like metaphorical in that she killed her identity and then switched over to Cannon or whatever. I don't remember if Cannon died yet in this one. Oh, yeah, Cannon did die earlier. Okay, so this would have been that. it could be that Shannon actually killed herself, or she abandoned that personality and it just went back to Sayo/Beatrice and then continued the murders. I don't know. But at that point, that was like the 4th, 5th, and 6th night. So I think we only had like a couple more deaths to go through anyways, which might... Oh yeah, that wasn't even her. That wasn't even her that did it. So it didn't really matter at that point. She could have just actually killed herself. Because the 2nd and 8th nights are... 2 are killed by a red-eyed phantasm, which was shown to us. It was Canon back to life trying to kill them. But the reality was, it was just Genji who killed Nanjo and Kumasawa. So, and Genji looked like he was ready to murder them too. Like he looked like he was locked in. I really thought he was gonna have the red eyes or whatever. I thought he was gonna lock in. Like, he looks terrifying in that panel. So yeah, don't piss off Genji, and if you ever get control of the Ushiromiya family, Genji will be your murderer for you. He will lock in, it looks like. And then 3rd game. First night we have the 6 bodies in the circle of locked rooms, which now that you know that Canon and Shannon are both one person, might originally make that a little more complicated because Shannon and Canon are both involved in this loop, but it makes a lot more sense once you add in the detail of they are seen as the like true head of the family by the servants, because now they can use like them as like co-conspirators to like help them out with some of the stuff too. So they went through. Shannon orchestrated a string of murders and locked rooms. The first body found in the string was false, which was Shannon, and then when it was clear, they changed into Canon. Went over to where Canon was going to be found to be like another death. So in both cases, they were not dead, but it made it appear as if there was a series of locked rooms when in actuality, one of them was not actually dead. They just went over to the next one and then pretended that they were dead, which also had the key to where the first one was because that's where they were before or something like that. Something to that effect. I don't know if I described it right, but it had to deal with just a series of like Sayo just pretending to be dead, and then Nanjo just not confirming that they were actually dead, or confirming it and just lying, something to that effect. 3rd game, 2nd night, bodies of mother and daughter in the Rose Garden. I mean, that one's not really... That one didn't really need a whole thing. For debate. That was just like, oh, who could have killed them? It was Ava. Ava killed Rosa, and then like strangled Maria. Now, my only question though was, did Ava mean to murder Rosa? Was it an accident, or like, because I was thinking in my head, like with how how Rosa is dead, it looks like she's like knocked over and then her head is impaled backwards through like a spike on a fence thing. And so I was wondering if like Ava got into an argument with Rosa, pushed her, and she just accidentally fell onto a spike, and Maria was there and was about to throw a fit. And so Ava just killed her to shut her up. I didn't know if Rosa's death was on purpose or not, which comes into play later too. So, what's the image? Let's see. What do we got here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if these are because these, as I've said, these were added after the VN. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be taken as the exact way that RO7 planned out these crimes, or if this is just an interpretation of how the crimes could have been committed, and we're supposed to just see it as like Will's interpretation of the crimes. Because there's definitely other ways you can construct these crimes than the ways outlined here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, once you're given the perspective of like Sayo and Canon are like the same Shannon, Canon, whatever. Shannon, they're all the same person, and the servants will co-conspire with them to do all these things, and the siblings can be easily paid off. You can do a number of different ways to execute these things when you have literally everybody except like the one who was murdered lying. So when you set it up like that, sure. When everybody involved is just lying, sure, you could set up a lot of different things. I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, okay, I get it. Well, I don't know how I feel about it when that's the answer for like all of these things.
Battler spent so much time going, no, none of them could have been.
He was just like, there has to be a 19th person. There has to be a 19th person. Not only was he wrong, he was like so wrong that like half the island was murdering the other half. together as a
Oh,
family.
wait a minute. He's also one with a lot of people even more to begin with. There's only 16.
I love too. One of the answers for one of them was just everybody except Battler was in on this. It's
Yeah.
like-
It's like, yeah,
Everyone.
Battler's greatest
Even
weakness,
Nadia.
Minmon in chat said, Battler's greatest weakness is his empathy and unwillingness to think anyone could have been the murderer, because literally everyone was the murderer.
And at one point, I think it's in episode 2 that he like doubles, like triple down, like, no, Cannon couldn't have killed Jessica. No. And it's like, well, actually, he was.
Stop that, Battler.
Kyrie at one point was just literally like pulled him aside. And was like, well, when you think about it, there can't be a 19th person. It must be one of us. She's saying this as she's probably getting ready to murder half the people on the island.
Including him.
Including him, yes. Holy Jesus Christ. So, all right. So that was the locked series of rooms on the third game. And then the Maria and Rosa deaths. This was a part of the Avatrice episode. So the third game, 4th, 5th, and 6th nights, 3 bodies in the mansion. This was we were already shown the answer to this earlier. It was Rudolph and Kyrie and Hideyoshi going off somewhere together. And it was really just Rudolph and Kyrie were suspicious of Hideyoshi already because of Ava. And so they found some other evidence. They brought him aside. There was a shootout, and basically they all shot each other, and they all died. We already knew this from that episode. It was already pieced together, essentially by Battler, too, I think. Or
Good
was it
for him.
Battler?
He solved
Yeah, I
it.
think. So that was essentially already pieced together. We already knew that one. Kyrie didn't die instantly, and then she killed Hideyoshi, and then they all died. So that one's mystery was they just all shot each other. Third game, 7th and 8th nights. The bodies of the married couple in the arbor. So this was Nazi and Kraus. I did not remember this one at all. But it was just, they were killed by Ava. So episode 3 was just very straightforward. Just Ava just killed everybody. After the series of the locked rooms, it was just, and then Ava killed everybody.
That was like the easiest to digest. It's like, yeah, it's just Ava went on a
Ava's
rampage.
at it again. I don't tell you.
Ava killed everybody. And this is the one episode too where Ava lives and continues onwards.
Yeah.
And that's also seems to be one that's like, been solidified as like a permanent actual truth thing because like she's still alive when we see Anjay in the future too at the very least, but that's a whole other thing that goes into later for what happens with that.
Well, we'll get to that.
So 4th game, okay, first night, a storm of slaughter in the dining room, so everybody's fucking dead. So it was presented to us originally like a fantastical thing happening, I think. But I was also just like, yeah, but everybody who saw this fantastical thing is probably fucking dead. And then it systematically started killing all of them. So we already knew that there was something going on with that. And I think it tried to show us like several people died and then the rest were teleported away somewhere else. None of that fucking happened. Or if it did happen, it was like they were just brought somewhere and then just killed very swiftly afterwards or some shit like that. So it's shown here. It's depicted here as everybody's sitting down for the dinner, and then the servants just all have guns and just execute them all, I think. I think
you do.
I'm trying to find it. Yes, it was here. Okay. Every person apart from Battler was bought off. The otherworldly beings were a fiction agreed upon by the conspirators. And then as it's saying that, it shows like Genji, Shannon with like the rifles to the backs of all their heads at the same time, just killing them all. And then everybody who's alive was just bought off. And then they were
Except for
systematically
Battler.
killed as well, probably. So, okay. 4th game, 2nd night, when Jessica and George are having their battle, where it looks like George was teleported up, or George was coming down with his foot, and Jessica was teleported into there or something like that, and they supposedly beat each other at the same time. The 2 young people undergo a challenge only to perish, and the answer was they were merely acting in accordance with the script. I was a little confused about that one.
It was a movie the whole time, Shep. We were right.
My assumption was that they were told to say something on the phone to like Battler or somebody, which is how they heard the like Jessica stuff, and then they killed them after they read their bits on the script. That's what I was assuming that meant, but I wasn't sure about that one. Do we have any clarification on that one? Or any ideas on that one?
Which one?
The Jessica George fight to the death, turning out to merely be acting in accordance with the script. Because my assumption is they were told to read some script thing, like maybe at gunpoint, and then they were killed after they did. That's my assumption, but I don't know.
Possibly, because I think Jessica's the only one. I think Jessica's the only one that actually contacts the outside world during this, because George doesn't, but she calls Battler at the end of it to tell him they got me good, you know. So I assume that that's just they moved according to the scenario, is just them going to where their bodies ended up and them dying, and then you know Jessica does her little call.
Right. Fourth game, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and eighth nights. Okay, you got like 5 deaths right here. All right, none of the escapees survive. Soil to soil, illusion to illusion. The demons and witches are all false testimony. The bodies say nothing. So as we said, when the people started seeing fantastical shit happening, they were all eventually killed because there was no fantastical bullshit happening. There was no teleporting to some other area. They just fucking died. And so that we could just lie. We could just lie about what happened to them. We just lie. We just lie around here.
We just lie. That's it.
It's called a witch's truth.
Fourth game, 9th night, and then there were none left alive. I was like, oh my god, they said the thing. They said the thing. They said the thing. They said, and then there were none. Oh my god. Soil to soil, illusion to illusion. A fiction locked inside the cat box becomes the truth. There are no survivors left to deny the wish's fantasy. And it specifically shows us the cat box exploding from the giant series of explosions that we now know will just happen at any point at times. If a thing is set a certain way, we'll get into that. That's a whole thing. I can't wait. That's just a hilarious thing. But okay. All right. So
it is amazing.
Like the big mystery thing about like, oh, what happens to everybody? Like they all just die from a big explosion. Except in the one case that we see where Ava lives. And now we're shown more details of how that could have happened in what we are presented and told is the actual truth of the event. And we're even confirmed that with Red Truth later on. But that's the whole thing. So we have the whole back and forth. We have the whole back and forth. Claire is defeated with facts and logic by Will, our resident cat dad, Will. Knocks him out. With the final question being Claire asking, who am I? And the only thing that it actually says is the promised specter of death, regardless of the witch's intent, brings the story to a close. That specter of death is me. And then it shows the island blowing up. And it also focuses on the explosives. So am I meant to understand that this is implying that Claire is just the explosives that live on the island, or is it just supposed to be symbolic of Sayo? Because I just assumed.
That's a very funny theory, though.
Because I understood it was supposed to represent Sayo, but I'm like, look at the page, and it's like the specter of death is me, and it's showing like the bombs, the clock, the island, and I'm like,
Sayo is a representation of Rokkenjima itself and how much it fucking hated the Ushinomiya family.
I can't believe Claire was the bombs the whole time. Oh my god. All right, so
with a bunch of bombs.
Whew. All right, let me read some chat messages real quick here. So we have Macaroni King in Twitch chat. Because there's been a lot of lying in this family, quote, and a lot of love. Lucille Bluth. There's a lot of fucking lying going on. They just kept lying to each other and killing each other in every single episode.
There's still more lies we haven't uncovered.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for 1 second. Okay, over in YouTube chat, we got, where's some of the recent ones? Red Truth are almost all tricks. A witch's trick. Not a witch's truth. It's a witch's trick. Battler's greatest weakness is empathy. We already said that. I think this is part of the point. Everyone's basically part of it. No wonder Anjay hated Ava. Episode 4 basically is all illusion. Everything happens over telephones or seen through screens. A lot of the 7 Tea Party murders end up mirroring a lot of the earlier Twilights in pieces. The bomb reveal made me laugh out loud, LMAO.
Yeah.
Oh
Listen,
God.
we gotta talk about that.
Funny.
I was at work when I read that, and all of my coworkers have been listening to me go insane Shout out to my coworkers for also my narrative studies professor for tolerating me talking about Umineko as much as I have. But I look up at one of my coworkers, Cass, who's playing Minecraft with me, and I was like, dude, you know how much fucking explosive there's been on this island this game? There's not a small amount of explosives either.
It's a lot. It was a lot. It was a
It's enough that they
lot.
could only find a fragment of Madia's jawbone. It's an absurd amount.
No, it was crazy.
And this isn't the full amount either.
It's
That's
just a
just how much
small
is
reserve. Yeah, it's just a small little bit.
This is just part of it.
It's just a little treat. It's a little treat.
Say, Tommy Kinzo not only got 10 tons of gold, he got a whole bunch of explosives. It's more than anyone should have at any given point in time.
Yeah, because these are left over from the military base. And we see later on that Sayo actually used a bit of the explosives
Only a
to
bit.
test them.
It was
Now-
just a test, don't worry.
I have to say, before we get into the whole explosive stuff, I have to say, visual novels and their history of referencing Schrodinger's cat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah?
it's a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And Umineko did it a couple of times in the past. Now it has made it a core part of like its whole thing. And I know it's- and I know- And I know it's trying to be very impactful with it, but I'm like looking at the image of Beatrice in like her like little funeral coffin thing of roses. Her soul will no longer waver, rest in eternal slumber within your cat box coffin. And I can't take it seriously anymore when it ends with that. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was just every other visual novel ruining that for me, but with
It was.
Schrodinger's
It
cat referenced so much already in all of these stories and narratives, I can't listen.
Umineko is a wonderful comedy at times.
Listen.
My favorite comedy, Umineko.
It's
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. But I mean it's a whole thing where it's like this is the answer to Claire's story, this is the truth of Beatrice, this is the truth of Saya, this is the truth of all that. And then we cut back to Lion. We're like, oh yeah, Lion's still a character.
Oh, yeah,
Lion
we're still
exists.
here.
Lion's still here, isn't he? Well, this is awkward because now we're about to make your life worse, Lion. Because
No, we're gonna send Leon off to a happy ending. It's the end of the funeral, guys. Let's go.
yeah, happy. It's gonna be very happy.
Go home, Leon.
Hold on, wait.
No.
Wait, Minmod and Chad, half of the chapter transition to the end was a clock ticking forward to the times, and it made me go, holy shit, it's been here the whole time. But then they
Oh,
went,
yeah.
but then referencing the thing I just talked about, the cat box coffin, they're like, it's a beautiful line. You will feel ashamed of your words and deeds. Listen,
The VN has a frightening passage of time to like tell you that there is a passage of time where it is a clock. You see the hands of it move. Let me see if there's a screenshot of it. And it's very great because it tells you about how much time has passed between the previous scene and the one you're seeing, or if we're going back in the past. But then, as the night goes on, as the murders start racking up, the clock gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it is terrifyingly close to the screen. And it's terrifying.
I'm gonna make it a stream bit, okay, where I'll have this clock in the corner, and the longer it
Oh,
goes, the
God.
bigger the image gets, until it's like this on the stream. Until it's like this, and this means that we're done with the fucking stream when it takes up the whole screen, and then there'll be an explosion sound effect, because I'm assuming that's what
Hell
happens.
yeah.
Okay. I am interested, though, if that was an element that was like an important little thing in the visual novel, were there
Which part?
the clock thing? Were there a lot of clock things in the manga? I don't remember there being clock things at all in the manga.
No, there was.
When they brought up the clock, she was like, "Let me explain how the function of this clock works." I'm like, "Were people wondering how a clock worked? What is what? What are you talking about?
She just pauses like, let me show you this clock. And they're like, what the fuck?
She's just like, yeah, this clock. You know about this clock. You haven't understood how it worked yet. I'll explain to you how it works. I didn't even know we had a clock going on here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wolfborg. As
This
me,
item's
as
horrible.
the resident ignorant person, okay, this is very educational for me.
This is how all clocks work, Shadow. Every
All
single
of
one
them.
of them.
All of them work exactly like an
Especially the
Umineko.
bomb clocks.
Of course.
So, all right. So, Will has defeated Claire, and now we get to go back and see. He's technically free now. He can leave, and then we
Technically.
continue on with Lion's story to see what happens with Lion now that the Beatrice
Sorry,
funeral is
I hate
done.
to interrupt.
Yes.
Sorry, how fucking crazy is it that when Kinzo had a hard decision to make, he was
Yes, listen, we'll get there. I can't wait to talk about the clock. I can't wait to listen.
It is so
We're almost
good.
there. We're almost there. Okay, listen. Will leaves. Okay, Will leaves, gives Lion a little head pat, and then heads off. My job here is done. And then Burncastle's still there, like, oh yeah, we gotta finish up your shit, don't we? Well, you're not gonna like this. Let's go. And so everybody leaves the chapel.
Yeah,
And-
so Burn leaves.
Yeah, Burn appears to leave at least.
Allegedly.
She leaves and lets
Burn
them go
leaves.
on about their day.
And then Lion's
Your
like,
birthday.
Lion and the whole family, they leave, and it's like ascending to heaven or whatever I think it says. And then,
Sending Claire to heaven, and that's the end of episode 7. And then we
That's
get
it?
to the tea party.
yes, it's labeled not as a tea party here. It's labeled the end of the game, and then ... and it's just Lion wakes up in a theater again, and I'm like, God damn it! I thought we were done with this shit.
Now we're done.
So Lion wakes up in a theater again. This time next to Anjay. Anjay is back. And Anjay's like,
Again.
oh God, I'm back in the
She's like, God
fucking
damn it.
witches bullshit. What did I read this time? Why the fuck am I here? And I think Anjay was literally like, well, all right, you're here too. Well, once I'm a witch's pawn, you're just stuck in this shit. So I guess you're here too. You're going to be a witch's pawn now too. They're just going to fuck with you for the rest of your life. You gotta get used to it.
Yeah. That's just
So-
what we signed up for. And Lion's like, I didn't sign up for shit. What are you talking about?
They
But I
have,
signed for this.
they have a whole back and forth.
Lion
With,
being in Uroshimia was what signed them.
Yes.
up.
Literally.
Yep,
Yeah.
true. So they're like talking to each other like, who are you? And they're like, who are you? And it's like, oh, I'm Anjay. And like, what? You're supposed to be like 6. And you're like, yeah, well, you're not supposed to exist at all. Who the fuck are you? And
Who
so,
the fuck are you?
but Anjay's like, Anjay's,
I asked you second.
true. Anjay's like quicker to like pick up on this because Anjay's already experienced the different fragment stuff. She's like, oh, so you're from one of those other fucking alternate worlds or whatever. All right, so it's this bullshit. And Lion's like, well, why don't we just leave? Like, we're chained. Can't you see that? Duh. We're like here to be fucked with by the witches. Of course we don't get to leave. Like, what? So they are then shown.
They're so innocent.
They are then shown the events, a version of the events, presented by a emotionless Claire, who, well,
Corpse of Claire.
the corpse of Claire, and then we get shown events that are happening. And so the events that were shown here are similar to, I think, the what I say, episode 1? It's just like some version of some of the events where everybody's meeting the same way as they did in like the first episode, meeting up again. And then we skip to, then they get the Beatrice letter, and then everybody's discussing it that night. Except this time, all the siblings actually do work together to solve the riddle of the epitaph. And when they do, they solve it like pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Which made me try to think and wonder if
Someone's out
Kinzo.
there.
I was trying to think too, because I was like, because I remember last week we discussed this, and I was so upset about how annoyingly convolutedly stupid, like the epitaph was not meant to actually be solved. Like that's how stupidly complicated it is. And when they all just grouped together and solved it instantly, I was trying to think, okay, if they were able to solve it together, one, do they each have a unique piece of information as the siblings to help solve the epitaph? And 2, if that is the case, did Kinzo plan it like that as a, like, family exercise for all of them to work together, and then together they would be able to solve it? The answer is probably no to both cases, but it's wishful thinking. Because, like, they're able to piece it together, because Kraus could probably just be like, yeah, well, Dad's actually from the Taiwan area. That's where I kind of got that influence of that kind of stuff, so we know to check that out. One of them brings up, let's go get a map of Taiwan.
Ava does.
Yeah.
I remember that, because I thought that her face looked really weird in this art style, in that panel in particular.
Yes, I'm looking at it now, and I see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
This one follows kind of more of what maybe episode 3.
Yeah, for reasons that happen later, but yes, yeah. So they do their discussions, they figure out the stuff, they go to do the stuff at the chapel, and we also see little scenes of conversation between Shannon and George, where it's the whole, yeah, Battler, I'm jealous of him because you and him used to sort of be a thing, but not really. And Shannon's like, well, I guess I kind of liked him, but anyways, I'm with you now. I don't think about Battler anymore. I don't think about him at all.
In fact, you should just love me more than him.
Yeah.
Bro.
But, that's the whole thing. She's like, well, listen, I got the ring now, okay? That means I'm here with you, okay? We don't have to think about Battler anymore. And then they hug, and then we go to see the whole family solving the thing together. They figure out the chapel stuff. They find the underground area, which has... I don't think it had it the last time we saw it, last week or whatever, but they specifically, when they go up to the door, it says, and on the 10th night, the journey will end and you shall reach the capital in which the gold dwells. But it looks like it's written in, like, blood or some shit. I don't trust that. I would not trust that room. But they go in it. And they do, in fact, find all the gold. All the gold is in there. So all the siblings together, they have found the gold. And then the argument starts.
Well, first they meet Bito.
That's true.
Beatrice is here.
That's true. Bito comes out.
And she's here. And you're here, too. Also, why are you still here?
So Bito comes out in full Bito attire, saying, well, I guess you found the Golden Land. And they're just like, what the... What?
Who the fuck
Bito was
are
like,
you?
yeah, so I was planning to kill you all if you didn't solve my thing. Here's the guns I was going to use to do it. Here's the ammo that's do it. I think I loaded all of them into, I'm just going to leave.
Yep, okay.
I'm just going to leave these lying here next to the extra ammo too, for no
I'm
reason.
Sure absolutely
bomb.
nothing bad will happen.
For no reason at all. I just want to point these out here. I was thinking
Also, all
about
these
killing you
bombs.
guys. Yeah, there's a lot of bombs. I'll get into that, but yeah, so you guys get all the gold. You can figure out how you want to split it. I got no problem with that. I was planning to kill you guys, so if you guys want to kill me, I got no problem with that. You decide what you're going to decide, but you solved my puzzle. You got me. So you can do what you want. Here's your gold. Here's some guns. I'm just saying, those are there. Here's a clock. Oh, you didn't know about the clock. Oh, let me tell you about the clock. Oh, let me tell you about the clock. So this clock, it's got a little funky switch. When it's in this position, every night, if it's in this position at midnight, a massive series of bombs that are across the entirety of the island will all go off at once and kill everything and everyone. That's if it's in that position. Right now, it's not in that position, though. So, we'll all be fine. Midnight's in the, 30 seconds. Yeah, so, discuss amongst yourselves what you want to do. I just wanted to, tell these things to you guys. And they're immediately just like, who the fuck are you? Why were you planning to kill us? And how do we know she's not lying about where the clock is right now? Are we all just about to die? What is happening here? Maybe she was just trying to distract us long enough for midnight to happen. And like Ava's like almost going to go flip the switch. I was like screaming. I was like, Ava, no, don't do it. Ava, Ava, don't do it. Ava. I don't care if it is in the wrong switch or not. Don't switch it, Ava. You don't want to be the one to accidentally get everybody fucking killed, okay?
Well, they all be dead, so they can't blame her.
So I was panicking about that. I was like, Ava, please don't accidentally kill everybody by just not, by doing that. And
By being Ava.
and that was silly of me to worry about,
Average
though.
Ava moment.
That was silly of me to worry about, though. Because really,
I'm
what
sure
I
Ava would never.
Because really, what I should have been worried about was a series of people being accidentally killed by guns in quick succession afterwards. Because that happened. So the siblings are arguing about the gold. Because they did have a discussion.
Again.
They did have a discussion. Because before they solved the epitaph, it was shown to us in one of the episodes, I think, where they had a discussion about the percentages, about how they would share it if it is real and if they do find it, I think. And they have now immediately ignored all of that because they're just like, yeah, well, you've embezzled some shit probably, so we're not splitting that shit with you like that. We're going to split it equally amongst all of us. And, oh, wait, there was another thing too. Bito's like, oh, well, I also have this card. I got this card. It's just like a debit card type deal. It just has like 1 billion yen on it, I think she said. Or was it 1 million? I forget. It was like a lot of yen is just on it, on that account. And they're just like, yeah, you can take this one. The siblings are talking about the gold. They're like, how do we split this up? Kraus is like, all these gold bars do not have like an official like stamp of approval, whatever it's called. They had like a fancy term for it or whatever, but these don't have an official like imprint on them. Yeah, so trying to sell them, you won't be able to do it through legal means because nobody's going to trust it because you don't have that stamp or imprint or mint whatever on it. We don't have that. So Kraus is like, well, through my connections and my business dealings, you guys are going to need me to sell that gold because you need me to do it. So obviously I have to get my percentage of this shit. And you got to do it through me because you're not going to just take all this stuff and then I think just Ava just accidentally shoots him in the face. I think that was
Ava starts yelling, and they all start yelling and stuff, and somehow Natsuhi gets too close to her, and her gun accidentally goes off and shoots
Allegedly.
Natsuhi in
That's
the
what
eye,
it was.
kills her instantly.
And
Cross
Kraus
goes
is
on
like,
a rampage because he's like, you just murdered my wife. You're gonna die. And Hideyoshi...
Like, rare Kraus W right there, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
The one time I can agree with
Hideyoshi's
him.
gun accidentally goes off as well when he like intercepts trying to get in between Kraus and Ava.
You
know,
guys
as it
suck with
does.
guns. I don't know what to tell you.
I will say too, all these people in their discussions very quickly all picked up a gun. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them
Yeah.
picked up
The
a
American
gun
way.
very quickly. It's
I can
like,
believe the accidents, but y'all all had these guns.
yep,
Why?
yep. Because like it's
Why?
drawn, at least in the manga, it's drawn like the big pile of gold is in one side of the room, and then like the table with all the guns is like on some other side, like to the left. And they like all of them across the room seemingly all have a gun now. And like, oh, okay. Nobody's a little concerned about that while we're having the discussions. All right. And then several of them are going off by accident or not. Allegedly, after Kraus and Natsuhi are fucking killed by Ava and Hideyoshi, they're just like, it was an accident. You clearly saw it. It had to be an accident. It was like self-defense, accidental, whatever. We didn't mean to do that. And Rudolph and Kirie is just like, or Rosa, like all three of them are just like, well, we don't know that for sure. We don't know shit. The cops sure aren't going to believe you. I'll just say that. We just, listen, we don't care about all that shit. We just want our percentage. So how about, we just take our stuff and we go. But Ava and Hideyoshi are already trying to be like, well, we can't let them find out that we killed Kraus and Natsuhi, so we got to let the bombs go off. And they're like, well, but then
Gold.
What about the gold? Like, well, I mean, you wouldn't be able to. I think even Rudolph and Kirie were just like, well, the gold's kind of useless to us anyways. We can't really do shit with that. Just give us the card because we can't really sell this gold. It's basically useless to us because we can't actually do much with it. Maybe take a couple like small ingots or whatever and just go. Don't bother with the whole thing because we can't fucking sell it all. Just take the card.
Well,
And we'll just,
transportation.
we'll take our percentage of the card with all the yen that's already loaded onto it. And Ava and Hideyoshi are just freaking the fuck out because they're just like, but we're gonna get caught for that. And they're just like, well, I mean, you probably should because you did kill them. And it'll be like, 10 years in prison maybe for like self-defense, whatever you claim, if they do believe you. So, I mean, your money will still be waiting for you when you get out. And he was like, no, we can't have that shit. So they try to do like a freak out and kill it, or I forget the order of events, but it basically ended with both of them getting killed. Well, that's a whole other detail for later, but Hideyoshi,
Rosa, and then they try to argue
Yes.
with Kirie and Rudolph, and Kirie and Rudolph both shoot Ava and Hideyoshi.
yes. And then we're locked in, finally, to the Rudolph route of these stories.
Oh yeah, dude.
I was wondering if it was ever going to
Kirie
happen.
route?
Well, it is the Kyrie route, but when I'm thinking in terms of like the siblings or whatever, because like in my head, it was like the first game was like Natsuhi, I guess Kraus died, but like still Natsuhi was there, so we had like the one spouse for that. And then you had the second game was Rosa, third game was Ava, and then we didn't have one for Rudolph and Kyrie, so I was wondering when that was happening. I was starting to think it wasn't going to happen. I actually didn't expect us to be getting like a continuation of like a version of those events right now. I didn't expect that in this episode. I thought we were getting our clarification about things, and then we were going to get another series of events in the next episode. I didn't actually expect there in this like last little bit of it to just be more of a alternate version of those events. I didn't expect that, but I also didn't expect it to be a Rudolph and Kyrie route. I didn't expect that shit, which, oh my god, I was like,
They were so fun to follow.
they really were. It's one of those things where it's like Rudolph and Kyrie are monsters in this, especially Kyrie, but I kind of am rooting for them because they're
Yeah.
cool doing it, and
Yeah.
like Kyrie is especially presented as a monster, but she's a monster that I would let kill me. So you know, it's one of those type deals. So they're locked in.
It's occurred to me that on two occasions you said the thing I usually say, and it started to concern me.
Kyrie was hot. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Kyrie was hot here. I mean, she was already a very interesting character, but she never really got to shine as much until now. She had like her main moments to like be a part of the story was her saying, yeah, so I was jealous of Asumu for like 13 fucking years or some shit like that. I don't remember. It was like a crazy amount of time that she was like just
There's
jealous.
math too involved.
And I was just like, so your whole thing is just that you are calculating and very smart and very interesting, very like probably manipulative too, but we don't get to go into that. We just go into, yeah, so I was jealous of this other girl that Rudolph was dating. So I was like, okay, all right, but what else is there? Because you're a very interesting character. Are we actually gonna do anything more with you? But now we are. So they're locked in. They're like, all right, we killed them. And we basically do have to set off the bombs. That was not a bad idea. We do gotta set off the bombs. We gotta get rid of these bodies, and this is the best way to do it so that nobody will suspect that we actually murdered them. So, here's the thing though, Rudolph, okay? This is Kyrie talking. Rudolph, we might have to kill Battler. If you can't convince him, he's gonna have to die too. Now, I know he's your son, but he's not my son. He's Asumu's son, which, sure, we get along, but still, he's Asumu's son, which makes me kind of hate him a little bit. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. I don't personally hate him. I just hate him out of principle because of Asumu. So he's got to die. And I also don't think he can keep his mouth fucking shut about this. So if you can't convince him,
thing. Let's be real. That's the real thing.
Yep. So if you can't convince him, we got to kill him. We got to kill him. So you think of what you're going to do with that. But before we do that, let's coordinate to kill the other kids. And so they do a series of like telephone things with them, being like, hey, Kraus said we got a little test for you. So go out to this like in front of the chapel, the back of the chapel, come to this alley in like 5 minutes. You know, don't let anybody else be with you. Just go there alone. And, you know, it's fine. It's fine. He just wants you to go out there, just do a little test. Cause he says he's tired of us. One of you guys might be the successor. I don't know what he's talking about with that. Anyways, just go out there and for a second and just have some fun with that. There won't be any guns. They're coming to kill you or whatever. No. So they go out there to each of their respective spots. And then like, I think like Rudolph goes to kill George. Kirie goes to kill Jessica. And George is just like, hey, what's up, Uncle Rudolph? What are you doing here? Rudolph's like, well, sorry, you know, bad news, buddy. You picked the bad luck in life for you. Maybe next time in your next life. George is trying to fight back, but it's not working out. It was not working out for George, but he tried to fight back.
They both tried to fight back.
George has a whole CG in the console version of his death.
Damn.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait, let me show this on stream. Oh.
I like.
Oh god.
I
Web
also
P.
like too. You only
Poor
get to
baby.
see. You only get to see Rudolph's shoulders, so it kind of looks like Will might have killed him.
No, not Will. No, not Will. It was
Will's
the
gotta
cat
strike
dad.
down his jacket
Well, it's
sleeve,
like you
but
were the real
but
culprit all
still.
along, George. You incel.
you were the reason Sayo became the culprit.
If it wasn't for you, she'd still be waiting for Battler. She wouldn't snapped and killed everybody. Okay.
Illusion to illusion.
Illusion to illusion. So, yeah, so they systematically start killing all the grandchildren. Kill Jessica. Kill George. Rudolph's supposed to kill Battler. And
Well,
Kyrie
he's supposed
goes to
convince
kill.
him, hopefully.
Well, yeah, he's supposed to convince him, but if he can't convince him, you know, he's gotta do what he's gotta do, you know? Maria is supposed to be killed by Kyrie. Now, here's the thing. Kyrie was getting ready, I think, to kill Maria, or did kill Maria.
I think she
Like-
she was leaving to kill Maria, and then we cut back to like the something else, and then she's leaving from killing Maria.
Yes. Okay. So she supposedly killed Maria, and then Ava comes back because Ava's not dead. Somehow the gun just grazed her head.
She fainted.
Max luck.
So somehow it grazed her head, and Kyrie, you know, the calculating woman that she is, did not think to check Ava's body. You know, very,
yeah, a little
very-
oversight,
very,
or lock
very.
it or something. I don't know.
So okay. Oh, this was the other thing too. I almost forgot about this detail because we've memed about how this whole family seems like they can use these guns. Apparently, some of them can't. They don't know how to fucking reload the thing, and
Yeah,
that's how. Like, that's how some of them died in the golden room, I think, was just Kyrie is like, oh, you don't know how to reload this thing, do you? It's kind of tricky. You do it like the way that I just did right now in front of you. And now you're dead. And now you're dead. It's like, oh, okay. All
This is
right.
some advanced tech. Thanks, Kyrie.
Nobody knows how to reload this lever action, apparently, except for her. So she's... And Rudolph, yes. So...
Don't discount Rudolph in all of this, okay?
Oh yeah, Rudolph and Kyrie, okay, at this point they're locked in with the murders. But I was kind of feeling like, okay, but is Rudolph really in on this? Is Rudolph just like saying this like, oh yeah, Kyrie, I didn't realize how fucking crazy she actually was to go that far. She just killed all my siblings like that.
And then he gets into it.
But that's the part where I was just like, I don't know, is he actually getting into it, or is he like playing it so that Kyrie doesn't turn around and kill him too? I was trying to like have hope that like Rudolph was actually going to turn around and like be a good guy or whatever too. Because Rudolph,
no, he's too whipped.
because I was just like, Rudolph is a cool guy. He also can be a piece of shit guy, definitely. But I was like thinking to myself like, okay, but is he one of those type of like dude bro guys who's still just like, listen, I'm like a cool dude, but like you just killed my family member. I can't stand that, and like would try to kill Kyrie too. And I was like thinking to myself like, what is he gonna do when it comes to Battler? Correct me if I'm wrong. We don't see shit about what happens to Battler. Am I wrong about this? We don't see shit about
Because
that.
Ava kills Rudolph before Battler can get there, and then we see Ava stand off against Kyrie, and then at that point Ange is like, I've had enough. Let me get me out of here.
Because
Right.
Kyrie admitted to just like using Ange as a pawn to, like during the altercation with Ava.
Yes.
Yeah, that she doesn't care at all about Ange. And
Which, yeah, that was the whole big thing, because Ange is in the audience watching this all happen, watching this all
That
unfold.
was fucked.
Because it was a whole thing where it was just Kyrie turns out to just not give a fuck about Ange at all. Only used Ange as, what did they refer to her as? A shackle. Children are a shackle to keep your spouse with you or whatever. I think that was how she worded it. I forget. Only used it only used it to keep Rudolph around, keep Rudolph attached to her, and did not give a fuck about Anjay. She's like, yeah, when this is over, I could just abandon Anjay. I got no problem with that. I didn't give a fuck about her anyways. So if I don't give a shit about Anjay, you gotta believe me when I tell you I don't give a fuck about Battler. We're killing Battler if he sounds like he's gonna spill the beans on this shit. So you better do the deed or convince him. And that was trying to make me think when that whole reveal about Kyrie was happening and Ava was like, you're a monster to like her. She was like, aren't you supposed to be a mother and all that? And I was thinking like, oh, is that why Ava was always a monster to Anjay? She wanted Anjay to be one of those people that always suspected that she killed Kyrie and that Kyrie was not at all one of the bad people involved in this situation. Ava was trying to be the bad person to like make Anjay feel better, have like a better memory of her mother in a way. But then it also tries to say later on that Ava just grew to hate Anjay because of always like remembering George or something like that.
I got the sense that Ava came to resent Anjay because Anjay was so defiant to Ava trying to do her best by like give Anjay what she couldn't give George, and Anjay was just so defiant about it because of the public, belief that Ava had killed him, that Ava eventually was just like, you know what, fuck you. Like, why do I even bother with a kid that doesn't want to be helped? Was how I saw it.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it, and then you can interpret like the others of like that resentment just grew even more because of her not having George or Hideyoshi anymore and such.
Right.
Yeah, we do see that like there is a line that the truth because nobody survives except Ava, the truth died with her. Because she did not give it up to anybody.
Yep.
Based.
And
because she didn't want to hurt Anjay.
Oh, but yes, the bomb, because we got so into talking about like everybody just shooting each other. The bomb situation.
Sorry, the 900 tons of explosives.
So a shit ton of explosives all around the island, which we know works. She tested it out with the shrine, which is no longer there. People were like, "Huh, where'd the shrine go?" Bombs are where they went. Just bombs. So when we made the jokes earlier with the small bombs in the food, we shouldn't have been concerned about the small bombs.
No, there weren't any small bombs.
Bombs? What are you talking? What bombs? What clock? What do you mean? Oh, you didn't mention clock?
Battler, that's ridiculous. You're incompetent.
See, he was worried about the small bombs. He should have been worried about the large bombs. He didn't even think about those ones.
No. Actually, there's a lot of small bombs. There's
sure. Yes. Okay. So
individually they're worthless, but together they're strong.
Okay. All right. And as was mentioned before, this was a mechanism that Kinzo used to motivate himself.
That was fucking crazy.
He was just like, listen, anytime we were in a jam and I had to get us out of the situation, I just set the bomb to go off at midnight. I had to solve it by midnight or we're all gonna fucking die. If I don't solve it, I'm just gonna let it go off. And it was a pretty good motivator for him to solve it, because not only would he die, everybody else on the island would die too, including like Natsuki, Kraus, and Jessica, and like, depending on the time of year, who else is on the island.
Well, because the kids realize, they're like, wait a second, so Dad, you had this bomb down here. He probably sat in front of it, watching it tick down, and put all of our lives on the line. Yeah, that's something Dad would do. Yeah,
that is absolutely on point for Kinzo.
The most Kinzo
They're very Kinzo pilled.
Early in this series, I always wondered if like Kinzo, once we start getting into the whole things are just presented to us as lies, and we even see that like Kinzo is dead the whole time. I was starting to wonder whether or not, the deranged Kinzo was actually how he actually was. No, that's how he is.
He really was that way.
He really was that and more. Like, okay, all right. I was thinking to myself, like, no, maybe he's just misrepresented to us because he's been dead the whole time, so they could say whatever. But no,
he is. It's way worse than how we
Yeah,
were presented.
yeah. I still remember episode 1 where he's like, Natsuhi, you have the heart of the one-winged eagle in your heart. It's imprinted right onto you. You may not be able to wear it, but you physically do. And then we learned that was never a scene that happened because he was already dead. That was probably Natsuhi's imagination. Now even more so, he probably would never have done that because he hates women.
No women hater.
Like, there's so much. There's so
layers
much
to this.
Unless he can use them, he hates them.
I'm still in my head though with Kinzo though. He's still funny grandpa crazy guy. I'm still thinking of that what was that video I posted in the chat?
Part.
Was it Happy Halloween? He's just cheering that. Oh god. But yes, number 1 Kinzo motivational strategy. I think Minmon said 100% Kinzo's motivational method was inspired by Ryukishi trying to finish his deadlines for Umineko.
Okay, honestly, mood.
It's the writing equivalent of it would be that software or website thing that will delete your words if you don't keep writing.
Yeah.
It's the literary equivalent of that.
It's that one episode of the Vampire Dies in No Time. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like,
oh yes, he like the like editor shows up. He's like, okay, you're gonna be trapped in this Iron Maiden until you can finish your chapters. And he's like, oh no, but he's a vampire who just will keep respawning every time he dies. So he's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck in here now. Wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. It was not the vampire that was put in it. It was the vampire hunter, Ronaldo. He was put in that thing until he finishes the thing. He does not have that ability, so he had to be more careful. But yes, he was like trapped in that and had to write his thing while trapped in it until he met the deadline. But anyways, yeah, so if you ever need to motivate yourself, just install a series of bombs underneath your house, and at midnight, set a clock. If you don't finish your thing, just have it blow up and kill everybody.
Right. Open the propane tanks that I have on the back porch.
Yeah, that's what the gas leaks were. You were trying to set it up. You were like, I have all this homework. It's got to get done tonight. I got a deadline due, so I'll just do a little gas leak. No big deal.
Worse, this was due like 2 weeks ago.
Oh no, the gas leaks are not gonna. At that point in time, it's gonna be hard to do your homework with the gas leaks. I don't know. Anyways,
Naya, are you currently dying?
Yeah.
Be truthful. Like, God fucking damn it.
I'm always dying. What the fuck?
So Ava does live. So we do solidify that information of Ava living afterwards. Ava being one of the only survivors of the incident that we know of, and we then cut back to the theater room where Lion and Anjay are, and then they find Burncastle and Lambda Delta just kind of watching it too. And I'm looking at the little image of Lambda Delta just eating the popcorn. I'm thinking of that one meme. What was that meme that we posted in the chat? That I think Minmod either posted or retweeted. It was the Lambda Delta eating the popcorn saying, oh, did you got your popcorn? Watch the show. This next part's going to be interesting. Lambda Delta's just looking back being like, can you keep quiet? I'm trying to watch the show. It's very interesting. And they're all just like, why the fuck are you doing this? Why the fuck are we back here? What's the problem? And Burncastle is just like, no, you gotta watch this. This is the events that are happening. You wanted to know what actually happened. And Lion, you get to find out what. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Lion. Sorry, you're still in the audience. Oh, sorry. We gotta.
Well, Anjay dies first.
You're the main character.
Yeah, Anjay dies.
Anjay explodes.
Anjay just blows a casket. Essentially, she's like, I can't handle this. Stop.
Because Anjay was like mentally not handling it. And then she was like, this isn't true. This isn't true unless you're saying it in red. And that was like the worst thing she could have said, because Brentcast, oh, you want me to say it in red? Oh, I'll say it in red.
Here you go.
This is the truth of the events. This is what happened, I think. I don't remember what exactly was said.
Events.
This is based on true events. This is not fiction. And then I think she was literally like, all right, return to like mincemeat or whatever. And then she just dissolves back into the grounded up version of her from that other episode. And then we're just seeing Kyrie walking around all bloody.
Doing murder, as you do.
In the different version of the events, I think, where she goes to kill Lion.
Well, so Burns like, okay, now I'll return you back to your fragments, Leon.
Yeah.
So they go back there, and Leon's like, why are we staying in the mansion? Why am I gonna look in the corner? And she's like, don't worry, because
what's the problem?
we're just gonna cross over a few fragments, just a few. Oh, here we go. Here's the one with you. Look over in that corner. I wonder who that is.
Now before we get into that, I
no.
calculated all the like percentages of this kind of fragment
I did
happening.
the-
This
I did
is
the
like the
math.
1 in like 2 million% world or whatever. This is the one. Enjoy it. No big
you
deal.
still lie, though. Whoops.
It's
You-
a
you're-
2,100,000.
I didn't know if that was supposed to be a reference to something. In my head, I was thinking, like, is this how many, like, permutations there could have possibly been for the murders? And, like, Ryukishi was trying to calculate it out. I was like... Because we're thinking back to the math bullshit. I was thinking back to the math bullshit we had earlier. And I was like, oh, was he trying to, like, calculate the different permutations of, like, all the different... Like, we have this many characters, and this person has to be the culprit. So what's the percentage of, like, all the different permutations? That's what I was thinking, but...
Rikishi actually wrote Umineko like 1,000 different times to get that number.
Truly.
Without math, it cannot be seen. We always knew
God.
this. We always knew this. We always knew this.
I was Beatrice all the time, you fools.
Yeah, so... Lion dies. It wasn't from Kyrie, though, right? That was from
No,
somebody
Kyrie
else.
shot Lion in the chest.
It's pretty explicit.
Oh, okay.
Very
Okay.
explicit.
I was getting confused with the things, but yes, okay. So, yeah, sorry, Kyrie. I mean, sorry, Lion.
Yes. So
That happened.
she shoots them, and but then the world like goes, it gets sliced. And Leon's like, what? Why did the world suddenly get all sliced? It will, dun 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 dun, shows up.
Oh my god, I'm trying to like... I set a couple bookmarkers on this Kindle thing, and now I don't actually know how to go to the bookmarkers, because I had some things I wanted to bring up and mention, but now I don't even know how to bring up the bookmarks. Okay. Lion is fated to die. Lion's not doing too good. And now they're like set to be prisoner, and then like Berncastle's like metaphorically killing Claire again on the stage, even though they're already a corpse or something like that. There's like a lot of metaphorical shit going on. And then there's like the fantastical bullshit happening now. We're getting into like the fantastical shit. So we're leaving the whole like these are real events that could have happened, and going to Berncastle witch things, which like slicing up things metaphorically, and Lion is about to get killed permanently as fate dictates. And then the cat dad shows back up, specifically to remind us that he is in fact a cat dad, by saying, when you own a cat, the owner starts to resemble the pet. This is the line he enters with, because Berncastle's getting a little too crazy. Berncastle being like a cat witch thing.
I think that line's supposed to be more of like when you own a cat, you start to see how they act or something, because Burn is a cat. She has a cat tail and stuff. She's
Yep.
cat. Kitty cat.
Yep. So, and I didn't realize how much Will being a cat dad was just going to be brought back. I thought it was just gonna be like, I thought it was just gonna be like a little meme detail. And then I did remember Berncastle's cat thing for a second. I didn't realize the fight scene, the fantastical fight scene for this, was going to be, now my demonic cat spawns, attack now. And then Will has to like talk about declawing the cats. I didn't realize. I was not familiar with your game, Ryukishi. I did not realize somebody being a cat dad was integral to the plot. I never would have guessed. So the cats are showing up. The terrifying cats are coming to claw Lion and get rid of them. But now, because Will's come back, Berncastle's like, listen, I let you leave, but you came back, so now you're fair game for us to fucking kill now too. So we'll just have a little fun with both of you. Will's trying to like be like, don't worry, Lion, I'll cut a path for you, then you can leave.
Okay, get the hell out of here.
The cats are attacking. Now, there were complaints about the art this week. I was seeing them for some of the scenes. How did we feel about the art when it came to these scenes? How did we feel about them?
At that point, I was literally just reading the speech bubbles. I stopped comprehending.
Ryukishi, I don't care about this fantastic bullshit anymore. Cats? Millions of cats? Demonic cats? I don't give a fuck.
I think that it was the way that they drew Ava. I was like, oh, I can't look at this too much or it's gonna make me uncomfortable. So I was really just focused on the story. Also, yeah, I don't know.
I was here for Kyrie, not these cats.
Literally so true. The second Kyrie was gone, I didn't care.
Ari,
you wished for Ava in the last scene there. I understand.
Ari, you had a lot of opinions this week when it came to the art. Let's hear them.
The art for like the when the siblings all started yelling and stuff, that that really had lows. Just the faces weren't great. The action did not really convey action. Because I was reading back a bit of episode 1 and 2 this morning, and like the episode 2 artists really had a bubbly kind of art style. Even just their smaller panels, you could see a lot of movement with their line work, where it just kind of looked like every character was kind of moving around a lot, which can be a good and a bad thing. But here, it's with the more intense scenes, it just didn't really convey a lot of emotion, and the faces just did not look good. Some of them looked just straight up flat, or just not. They didn't work. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Some of these towards the ends, though, after like in the at the end of the tea party, where it's more of just Byrne and Leon look a bit better. They stopped drawing Lion as like super moe, thankfully, by the end of this. like it's night and day if you actually go back to the beginning. Let me see, because they were super moe for the beginning of this, and then compared to the end, where it's like, oh wow, what happened? You actually can draw noses now, because there were like all of the characters had dot noses, unless they were like 25 or older. But now they actually have noses; they can breathe.
They've gained the nose.
So it's kind of up and down. Yeah.
I was trying to think when I was reading it, because I was like, I didn't really, during the sibling argument scene, I wasn't paying attention to the art, because that was, for me, that was the scene where I was more focused on the speech bubbles, because there was a whole bunch of shit getting revealed at once, whereas like,
You can look at both.
But when I'm just consuming it, I'm like not as focused on the art elements of that kind of stuff at that point, because I'm already being introduced to like, here's a bomb, a massive series of bombs on the island. Also, here's a card with billions of yen. Also, the siblings are now beginning to argue with each other, and guns are going off. Okay, all right, and I'm just like, oh, Krause's face in like a scene. I'm like. Not caring as much about that. I'm like skipping over it. Like, so I mean, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, I don't hate it. I'm just not paying attention to it, which might be worse. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so that was
the fact that it's not drawing your eyes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah. When it came to like the whole Burn Castle sending the demon cats after people, some of that stuff I thought looked pretty cool. But others, I was just like, okay, do we need this scene happening here? Because again, I'm reading this thinking like, okay, but in the visual novel, none of this was actually on screen. None of this was actually happening though. So I don't know. I mean,
The champ of love, it cannot be seen.
And then other times too, with like this stuff in specifics, I'm like, I can't even understand if we're winning or not. Will is like slashing
They're
things
winning.
and they're disappearing, but like supposedly
His
he's
ass
like
is not winning.
his well, I mean, he like not winning, but like cutting the path for Lion to leave as they're like planning, at least, is like, it looks like they're for a moment succeeding in that, and then but like I don't think that they were succeeding in that at the moment, if that makes sense. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I think it was trying to show it as if it looked like they were succeeding, but I was not getting the impression that they were actually succeeding. So I don't know if that was supposed to be intended. I don't know if the intention was you were supposed to think, okay, maybe they could battle their way out of this or not. Because, I mean, we do know in the end that they don't. Like, Will at one point is like clinging on, or Lion is clinging on to Will, and then they're like, "Oh, where's your arm?" "Oh, I left it back there." I left it back there, and you know, Burn, you can take
Be cool.
you can take the rest of my arm too, or whatever. I'm gonna give up everything. It, like, gives a whole ass speech. Where it's like, "You're not taking Lion. Lion gets to leave," and they have like a whole thing where Burncastle is just like, "But Lion, you don't want to do that to Will. You don't want to be a sacrifice to Will." And Lion's like, no, hell yeah, don't let me go. Please, no, Will, don't let me go.
It's heartbreaking in the VN because it's like, you know, in the VN it's very much more shown as like, you're both gonna die. Like, he is bleeding out. You're about to pass out, and you're completely surrounded. And Burn's like, "Here, I'll give you. You don't want Will to die, do you? Well, just tell him to leave, and he'll live. I'll let him live." And Lion's still just like, "No, don't leave me, please."
No, don't leave me with that crazy witch. I don't want any of this shit. I don't. We both got to get out of here, though.
We gotta go.
And then we have like a whole like hero shot, whatever, of like Will just picking up Lion. Did I have a screenshot of it? I have it here.
Oh, I do.
Okay,
Yeah, of course you do.
Paste it.
Where did I put it?
I was looking at that like, okay, Ari's probably screaming looking at this image right here. I could hear it. I could hear it.
Shut up.
Hold on. The episode 7, Don't Let Go. Don't Let Go 3. This implies there's at least 2 others that you took.
Yeah, the other 2.
Oh, okay. There you go. Don't let go. And they get a little, I like this shot. It's a nice little shot.
And then you have the scene from the console ports.
Oh, okay. Let me get that on
Which
there.
has a lot of variations, actually.
It's got the cat eyes in the back too. I like that. That's a cool shot. I like that. Ooh, there we go.
And
Will's got like a little bit of
clearly-
blood, and then and the cat
And
eyes.
his missing arm and stuff. And clearly, this is what shows that the console version is better than the pachinko ones, because the pachinko didn't even make a CG for this. I rest my case.
Cringe.
Damn.
But it did make a Italian Bito and Young Kenzo shoujo CG for some ungodly reason.
Wait, what?
Why did they get a CG and not Will and Lion?
Wait,
Look at this shoujo.
I'll bring it on the stream.
Ari, Italy wins yet again.
The Italians win.
This is the only Lion and Will CG that Pachinko gets.
What? All right, based. I'm here for it.
Gosh, they look so bad. I hate the Pachinko parts.
Damn. All right, so wait, hold on. The Minmod's saying some things. The VN is about how Lion's the miracle timeline version of Sayo, and yet it's very likely she would still be miserable and have a bad life. But even with I'm assuming this is 2 million to 1 chance, you have to live. You have to create your own miracle timeline, no matter how many cats try and devour you. There's a little There's a little boing sound effect too when he grabs her butt. In the end? It's like a boing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I was screaming.
Big fan.
You were too busy screaming to notice the boing. So, they do not, well, we don't see their fates, but as we've discussed in the book club, one of the book club chats, which I'm ready for my next rant, don't worry, but I'll get into that afterwards. We're showing Berncastle knocking off the 2 remaining chess pieces on one side of the board, symbolizing that they have been destroyed or defeated and surrounded and defeated. And this is where I get into my chess rant for the week. It's time.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far in the stream, you've made it to this week's chess rant. Okay. Now, last week's rant, okay? Last week, it wasn't, you could see from the board, it was hard to tell from the board unless you actually understood which pieces were which and had a little bit more understanding of the mechanics of how they worked. So it was a little harder last week to tell, right, from the board setup last week that position made no sense. Here, it's a bit different. It's a bit different here. Hold on. Here's the first image that shows the symbolic knocking off of the pieces.
The king and the
I always break at the worst
knight.
of
the knight.
The king and the knight, yes. The king and the knight, surrounded by all these other pieces. Now, you already think that, just looking at that, you might think that's a little weird, though. Some of the pieces that are nearby that, why is the king the black king all the way in there? That's a little weird. Why is the bishop, there are several pawns that are all, like, stacked up there. Several of which are already putting the king in check. Multiple of these things that already put the king in check. That's already a problem, right? So you're already seeing, like, logical errors for like how you possibly got into a situation where these pieces are all in there at the same time. Then you get into the next image, which gives us more of a look at how the board looks. More of an image about the state of the board. Look at this shit. If I can make it smaller. Okay. Just look. This is not how you play chess. What do you mean? All the black pieces are just in the corner. Okay. First of all, all right. In chess, the white's corner always has to be in like front of one of the players. Okay. So where the bishop is in the top left corner, that must be either black side or white side from there down, right? So, okay. This implies if the king... Okay. The king and the knight were there in that corner. There are several issues involved here. First of all, they would have had to be fucking with the player so much to having, like, trapped the king in a place where he could just move back. Well, first of all, they couldn't even move, but assuming that they had a spot where they could move back and forth for a while, right? It would be in such a way that you would then stack all these pieces slowly up there for no reason when you could have already ended the game, right? That's already one problem where you're just like, there's no reason to have done that. Okay. Then
it's called flexing, chap.
Okay. No, I understand. There's some times where you do flexing in chess, right? That kind of thing's fine. If you're like, okay, I have their pieces, I have all these pawns, and now I could just make like 7 queens and then beat them with that. That's fine.
Okay,
that's
that
flexing.
Is funny, though.
That is a typical way to flex in chess because it is funny to do that. Okay. However, this is not flexing. Slowly moving them all up like that is making, like, White would have resigned ages ago being like, all right, this is not worth the time even on my side for you to do all that shit. And so, okay. There are still problems with how the pieces are there too. Notice the pawns. Pawns, again, as I explained last week, every pawn starts off in one of the one in each square for like a whole row.
Oh no.
Right?
See it.
They can only go forward, moving forward, or they can attack diagonal. The only way they can be stacked on top of each other is if they have attacked diagonal. Now, if they are attacking diagonal, to get to certain positions, they have to be attacking diagonal multiple times. So we have several we have like one of these columns, the second column in, where 3 of them are stacked up. 3 of them are stacked up, which implies one would have to come from several areas away, right? So okay. My cursor's not on the screen, I don't think, but this one right here, this pawn that's there at the top of the screen right now, okay? That one is where one of them would have had to started in order for it to get to the second pawn that's in that column. But there's already one in there, which implies it never moved from that spot, which implies that's impossible for that to have happened. There's like, all these pawns are moved in such ways that they're not supposed to be moved like that. Okay? This is, and okay. I understand. I can hear you all going, Wolfborg, we don't care. You're a fucking nerd when it comes to chess. Okay? Artist doesn't know how chess works. Okay? We know this. I just want to know. Okay? And this happened in Code Geass too. Okay? We want something. We want to symbolically show something. Okay? We want to symbolically show they are being smothered. They are being surrounded by these things. Bro, you can do this with actual chess rules. There is a whole mechanic in chess called a smothered mate, which will do the same thing that you are trying to do here. But
which is Verdilia's signature move.
Which, you know, again, a smothered mate is a perfectly normal thing. You don't need it to rangely put every piece in the corner. I said peach. I don't know why I did. Every piece is not to be in the corner like this. What is happening here? And also, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I guess they didn't break the rule. I keep trying to check too when they add the chessboard if they break the rule for how many squares are supposed to be on it. They have not broken that yet, but we still have a whole other episode. It could still be broken. You know, there's plenty of time. But
you're just a hater.
I just want better chess representation when it comes to media. Okay, I just want better chess representation. I just can't believe an artist would sign up to work on a manga where one of the primary themes of it is chess. It's like a primary key thing. And you are providing more visuals than the visual novel ever. The visual novel can get away with it because visual novel doesn't have to show this shit. But you are being the manga medium and you have to do a lot of this stuff. We don't want to sit down and understand how chess works at all. It doesn't take that. Chess is not that complicated. You can figure out how the pieces move. It's not that hard. I don't know why. Okay. All right. I'm done with my rant. I'm done with it. I just wanted the chess rant for the week. I'm locked in. Chess rant's done for the week. All right.
Hold on, Jeff. The counterpoint.
Okay.
It was all intentional.
Oh, God.
See, I don't know how chess works, so
I can teach you. It's not hard. I can teach. It's not hard. It's not hard.
I will not retain any of the. It's not hard. I will not retain.
It's actually not hard. The
I've
way
had chess taught to me like 3 different times.
No. To be clear, chess is not hard to learn. What's hard to learn about chess is like the more complicated like movement pattern stuff, like the lines of defenses and offensive moves and shit like that, like openings. The physical way the pieces move are pretty easy to figure out and keep in mind. But all the issues that are presented to us with the manga are that they have not even bothered to consider how they move. So, listen.
Issue on your part.
Listen. We have a couple messages from YouTube chat about this, okay? I'm excited to hear what they all think. Everybody agrees with my chess rants, of course. LOL, I don't think the manga artists knew how to play chess / it's just a metaphor for how cornered they were. Listen, Code Geass... I understand, but we can do these things in actual chess rules. Code Geass, this whole thing, this is the whole debate for years about how stupid that chess scene is, where they're like, well, it was symbolic. Yeah, they were actively breaking the rules for that chess scene. That's not how that shit works. You can do the same thing of implying the things that they want to imply with the actual rules, and it would be smarter if it did, but no, it didn't. Anyways, okay. Minmod said, the VN never really went into specific chess move autism. Listen, I want to get into specific chess move autism. I want to get into it right here, okay? Listen. Chess is simple. This is Minmod again. Chess is simple. Rule 1. everything stated in red is absolute truth. Is that? I think that's true. Actually, I think that's a regulation. At the refs will say it in red. The chess regulators, whatever they're called. If you have to bring over a moderator, okay, whatever they say in red is truth. It's true. It's true. All right, I'm done with the chess rambling. Okay, so Bernkastel defeats Will and, well, supposedly defeats. We don't actually see their fate, but symbolically we're told that they defeat Will and Lion with facts and logic and chess, apparently. And Bernkastel is talking to Featherine. Featherine's here.
I
Right?
just want to say that it may be implied that Will and Lion were killed. I was not shown a body with a face. Okay, I believe nothing.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
You
listen.
learned well from Mettler.
Listen, I was reminded too this episode, okay? We've been missing out on red statements for a while now. We got a couple of them this episode, a couple of big important ones, but still, we're missing out on I've been missing the first half. The first half where we were going through several episodes of Beatrice arguing things in red truth and making it more complicated, and Battler being like, "What? But how is that possible?" And ever since afterwards, it's been like more complicated variations of that, but not having the same kind of impact of that. Like we tried to introduce blue truth, and I was like, this ain't it. And like in theory, blue truth could be interesting. How it's actually used is kind of not as interesting. It's just kind of useless in the grand scheme of things. Oh, 1 second. Somebody in YouTube chat. The chess scene in Code Yes from episode 1. What was the league about? Not the chess scene in episode 1. It is a chess scene later on when Lelouch is disguised as Zero facing against somebody else. I forget. Was it Schneil? I forget what his name is. A chess match where he plays against somebody, and I think somebody places their king in front of some other person's king. I forget what the exact move was, but it was a very highly, obviously illegal move, and I think several people in the room of the chess game were like, what? He can't do that. Why did he do that? And Lelouch, even stupidly, did not take the king at that moment. He then moved his king backwards because symbolism. Nothing about that sequence of events made sense. Anyways, I'm not going to get back into chess stuff, but if you look up Code Geass chess... If you look up Code Geass chess scene, you'll probably find the one I'm referring to because it's the one people meme about the most. It's also the one that people made the fan translation meme from, which I reposted today. It's a very funny meme. Anyways, this is Minmod. If there's no body, then there's always a chance for life. Anywhere can be paradise as long as you have the will to live. After all, you are alive, so you will always have the chance to be happy.
Thanks, Will.
Always have the will to live. True.
Good on
True.
test.
True. Oh, I have the laugh track soundboard. You guys won't hear it though, but the stream will hear it. The stream will hear the laugh track. I just played the laugh track for them. They're the audience, studio audience really enjoyed that one. That was a good bit.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one. So Featherine's back. I was like, oh yeah, Featherine was here.
Yeah, this whole episode was for her.
I remembered that now, and I was just like, oh yeah.
No, it was for me.
True.
Sure.
You had
is for me?
For some reason.
It's for me. Yeah, it was for me and Andy specifically. We wanted to see Hot Kyrie killing people.
So true.
It's allowed. It's valid actually.
It is allowed. I'll just question you at every step.
So I had something I think I bookmarked about this discussion between Featherine and Bernkastel because I did want to highlight it. Here it is. I think this is Featherine talking. You will find me another new story to ensure that I am entertained. For the centuries until that point, I allow you to be free. You have done well, Bernkastel. Oh, my dear, sweet little priestess. That's not my concern. Oh, this is Bernkastel. Okay, but you call a few measly centuries all eternity, do you? I was thinking to myself in this scene, their interaction, because I remembered we had talked before about the whole Featherine in reality, like supposedly being like a person writing up a whole bunch of fan fictions about what could have happened to the murders of the family. Yeah. And we compared it to a true crime podcast girlies or whatever. When I'm looking at this scene, I'm especially just like, oh, Featherine, only just wanted this for entertainment, and they will be back in like, in a couple centuries, they'll be back for another story. They can rest for now. And, I'm just looking at that like, okay, so Featherine is absolutely symbolic of like media attention towards tragedies. And she's just like, okay, well, society has now forgotten about the Ushiromi incident. They're not going to give a shit about this. So I'll talk to you again, Burncastle. Come up with the next, when you find the next murder mystery bullshit, the next tragic mysterious endings for things for people, I'll come back, because I'll Featherine representative of like the public interest. When it comes to like tragedies that do not affect them is kind of what I was thinking of there, was like just Featherine literally saying, all right, you can go to sleep for like a couple centuries now. And, I'll just wait around for the next tragic thing, just to be entertained by. I was like, damn. All right. Burncastle is not, I was trying to think like, I want to say like they are not having a fun time, but they look like they're having a fun time while not having a fun time. So I don't really know.
I mean, that's her resting face, not having a fun time while having a fun time,
Yeah. So I'm just like, all right.
Character I can relate to.
Who's the bad guys here? Is it really Featherine?
Battler is shit on me.
Is it Battler? See, if Battler didn't show up, it was all Battler's fault. If he just didn't show up that year, everything would be fine.
Beto did nothing wrong.
It was all Beto didn't do it. The bombs did it. She just said, hey, siblings, here's a clock. It's tied to some bombs. Do with that what you will. Here's some gold. Here's a card. Here's some guns. They're loaded. Do what you want. I'm not going to do anything.
I heard a noise from Andy. Do you have a differing opinion on Beto doing no wrong?
I think everybody here sucks.
Are you saying...
Is this a Reddit? Am I the asshole? r/am I the asshole? Oh, she wrote me a post. Could somebody
do anything?
Could somebody write a fake r/am I the asshole post where it's just Umineko? I don't know if it's like Battler writing, Beatrice writing, or something. Just r/am I the asshole, and it's just a whole Umineko based thing. I want somebody to post that on there and see if anybody notices.
I'm sorry, but honestly, Battler and Ante are the only characters I'm rooting for in this entire series, which immediately makes Beatrice an op. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry.
What's wrong with Beto, huh? Women can't do anything now, huh? Huh? What about trans rights and trans wrongs, huh?
God forbid women have hobbies. God.
You guys are terrible, you know that?
The thing is that it's a funny bit, so I don't want to argue.
I'm going to argue though.
This is not a bit. Beto did nothing wrong.
I'm not saying that. Well,
one of the things
you're
that
not a good person.
Beto did things wrong.
Andy, real quick, one of the things that came up in my head while I was doing the reading when I thought of you was the beginning bits where Shannon was talking to the servants, being like, I don't need this stuff. I just want to wait for Battler. I was thinking to myself, and Andy's just screaming somewhere like, I fucking hate Shannon. I hate her. She's so boring. She's just the damsel in distress, and I hate her. I hate her. Why can't she just do something? And you got that eventually when she was like, hey, here's some guns and some bombs. Good luck.
She has 30,000 mental illnesses, okay? You can't
Only
blame her.
30,000?
That's a lot, actually.
I am just a little bummed, I guess, that ultimately this very interesting supernatural mystery was a love story. That kind of irritates me.
This is true. This is true.
Listen, Will was fighting for the happy ending, okay? Will was fighting for it.
I'm not saying that, like, oh, without love it can't be seen or whatever. Like, that's fine. But at least, have a little bit more of an interesting motive. Not just money and love, I don't know.
What did you want?
Well, like
what kind of
what?
motive did you want?
Like what?
Honestly, just being mad that Kinzo exists. That would have been pretty funny. Ignore the fact that Battler left and then came back and was fucking breaking your heart or whatever. Like, just finding out that Kenzo was both her dad and her grandfather or whatever, she should have just crashed out right then and there and just killed the whole family.
She pulled out the knife and killed Kenzo.
When we where is it?
Minmon's saying, did you guys talk about the guts scene? What is this referring to? The guts scene.
Claire's guts.
Oh.
I think
Oh yeah.
I think that's the one that I'm trying to look up.
Okay.
Because there is a scene when Leon is being attacked. Here it is. I'll post it in the spoilers. That shows you Claire's guts, which is basically some of the possibly actual versions of how some of the scenes that we saw in episode 7 went down.
Yes, I remember this now. I remember this. I think I tried to bookmark this, but I forgot to, or I couldn't find it. Okay. Yeah. So you're seeing like the whole Italian bit. Then you're seeing the Beatrice daughter bit. Father, your feelings are. I mean, it's a little too much. You don't see the rest, thank God. And then it's like, why did all of you save me? Why didn't you let me die? I had to live in a body like this that isn't even capable of love, which was like a whole scene that we didn't see before. And then there's no value in living like that.
Specifically, right. So the last scene is when she is told the truth of her lineage.
Yep.
And in Claire's version, she took it pretty well.
In reality, she did not take it well. In fact, several people die.
In reality, she took it about as well as anybody probably would have. Breaking down and screaming.
I hope in the reality of those events, Kinzo suddenly dies because she fucking stabs him several times, freaking out.
I'm telling you.
I hope that it makes more sense for Nanji being like, oh, I guess we should check that. Where like it turns out she's like stabbed multiple times. And it's like, oh, I guess we should check. Like maybe right now we joke about it, but it's like, well, do I have to check it? She stabbed him multiple times.
We watched.
Oh, I guess I'll check it though. I guess that's my job. I'm being paid to do this. So.
And you see that her face is completely obscured for all of these.
Yeah, I noticed that.
In the VN, it's all shaded in deep red filters, showing that it's literally a red truth. Ooh, that's cool. I wish they kind of were able to do something like that in the manga version. So the manga, when we finally did have a big red truth thing at the end, they actually, in the official version, did make the text red this time. Usually they never made the text red, ever. It was always just making a certain font. But they did for the ending, like very, very ending bit where Berncastle's going, I will not give this game a happy ending. So they really wanted you to know that this game's not going to have a happy ending.
What are you talking about? Battler told us.
But Battler talked to Anji being like, no, it's just a nice little party.
I'm assuming we're going to end up getting like 2 tellings of it, is my guess.
I hope it's like a battle of events. I was like a dumb rap battle of the truth that happened between Battler and Berncastle.
So this also kind of Claire's guts also really shine a bit of a different light on Bito's body and also her feelings on being furniture. Because we've seen countless times through Shannon Cannon and even herself during episode 4 when she was talking to Battler of lowering herself to being furniture.
Yep.
Basically, it all ties back to her body. Because as we remember from episode 5, she is declared, Lambda Delta declares her as being born male, and then the accident happens on the cliff, and something probably happened to her body in that fall. So
I'm already feeling pain already, just thinking about what probably definitely happened. It's
yeah.
Doesn't sound very fun. Doesn't sound very fun.
And at this point, we don't know how much she really knows either. Because, think about it. Because Genji signed her up to be a female servant in the Fukuian house. And we don't even really know if the Fukuin house can even have male servants, because Kanon was supposedly the only one.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that before. It's supposedly like, because I was thinking like, well, we have Genji, but Genji was not a part of that system. So
I wonder why Kinzo only wants female servants.
Do you think he fucks all the servants? Wait, hold on. Kumasawa? What's going on with Kumasawa? Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Kumasawa is the age that Beatrice would be if she hadn't died in childbirth. So
What?
The crack ship I like better is Kumasawa and Kinzo's old wife. The real reason he kept Kumasawa.
There are a couple things. There are a couple things that I'm wondering if we're gonna get more information about. One was I didn't know if we're gonna get any more information at this point regarding Kinzo's first wife at all. I don't feel like they're actually a factor in this stuff, so I don't know if we'll get any information about Kinzo's first wife. The other was, we haven't mentioned in a while, but we had a whole big reveal about Battler's mother not being his mother. We ever gonna get back to that? We got one more episode. That's got to come back up, right? So then what's the twist with that? Because we made that a whole big deal at some point. So something's got to be happening with that. You know, yes. I mean, yeah, listen, Rudolph might have found the place at some point. You know,
given how things are going, like,
and Rudolph's got Riz, so we know, some things could have happened.
Battler did not marry his mom. No,
oh, so that's what happened with Kumasawa. Kumasawa is Battler's mom. Okay, I understand.
I mean, in Futurama, Fry slept with his grandmother.
Oh God! Listen. Listen. We have established incest grooming as a thing already in this series. It would not be.
We don't have to bring it back. No.
Plus, Beatrice, like, maybe it wasn't Beatrice that would have been his mom. It would have been like Shannon version of Sion.
No. I was making a joke. No. I will say it in red. Beto is not his mother.
Battler was
Shannon
actually.
is not his mother.
Battler
Sayo
was
is not his mother. Kanon is not his mother.
Kumasawa?
I'm not entertaining this anymore.
I'm trying to think though. I'm trying to wait. I'm trying to think. How old is Sayo supposed to be?
Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
She is the same age as Lion.
Who's like 19, right?
Yes. At the 1986, they are 19.
And Battler is 18, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Beatrice, one of the versions of Beatrice being Battler's mother could still happen.
Oh my God.
It could still happen.
Okay.
They're a year apart. It's not impossible.
But she died. Kuwadori and Bito died because of Rosa. She died like right after she gave birth.
Listen, it's not impossible. I think that there's a fragment. There's a fragment where it's possible.
Oh no, stop.
I'm just trying to think though, because I mean, there's gonna be something with that. But anyways, that was one detail that I'm just like, okay, we haven't gotten answers for that yet. When's that gonna come up? But hopefully that'll come up for the next one. Otherwise,
I don't think it's gonna come up.
Otherwise, I'm going to be very upset with Ryukishi if he left that up to interpretation for the readers. I'm going to be very upset with you, Ryukishi. I want
honestly,
at least
not for interpretation.
You can't bring that up as somewhere earlier and never answer it. So good.
Genuinely, right. I got to the end of the note that he wrote at the end where he was like, "Well, I hope that I solve some of the mysteries. We'll see the solutions to the rest of them in episode 8." And I was like, "What mysteries? I had all the questions I remembered asking answered."
I'm trying to think if there's some other things I wanted clarified. Because I'm trying to think. Some of these were already like addressed in one way or another, like all the different message bottle stuff. Did we go over where the first, like why the first ones were sent out yet? I'm trying to piece together, because I know the subsequent ones were like fake ones by like representative like Featherine or whatever. Like they're when they take over the games and it's not actually the 4 original games or whatever, or at least the first 2 original games. So
So the message bottles were basically Sayo sending out possible ways that the events of Rokenjima could go down before they happened, because she didn't know how things would play out. And so she sent them out as basically to kind of deify the events, because at the end of the day, the bomb was probably gonna go off if, like, when she committed to it, the bomb was probably gonna go off regardless, because as we see, like, even the kids in them decide to let the bomb go off.
Well, and I think that at the beginning she'd been like, yeah, if you guys hadn't solved it, the bomb was gonna go off.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, once she decided to commit to the crimes, then the bomb was going to go off. So that means that everything that happens on Rokenjima will be sealed up, and nobody will know what happened because it's such a big fucking bomb. It's going to destroy everything and all evidence.
Yeah.
Sealed in the
Evidence
cat
being
box.
the main thing, where you just won't know who died, where, and how, and when. And so the message bottles, episodes 1 and 2, are her way to bring about the legend of the Golden Witch to the outside world, and to give an explanation for what happened on Rokenjima, which is a fictitious version that has canon exist, and Shannon is the servant and stuff, things like that. Kinzo is alive. Because, at that point, nobody outside of the family knew that Kinzo was dead.
Oh yeah, wait. There's another thing I wanted to bring up. When we're shown the true version of, or at least the events that Burncastle said were the true events, right? It starts with Battler meeting people, like in the beginning of episode 1.
Mhm.
Specifically, reunites. I think he meets up with Shannon again, and then eventually meets up with Cannon. And meets Cannon for the first time.
Mhm.
I was like, but these are supposed to be the real events that happened. So did Shannon introduce herself and then immediately disguise herself as Cannon? And then, or the other way around?
That's one way to look at it,
Like-
yeah. Like, you can look at all of these events as, like, Shannon...
Wait, I'm trying to extend this too.
Canon, like...
I'm trying to extend this too. I'm trying to think to myself too. Because I'm just like, okay, that was something where I'm just like, okay, sure, she might be able to do that. But also, I'm just like, has she been lying about this to, like, Jessica too? Does Jessica know that Cannon is also Shannon? Or is this like a thing that Shannon just at one point had like Genji introduce Cannon, and they've never been in the same room together in front of Jessica, so Jessica's just never noticed? Like, what is happening in terms of that? I'm so interested to find out what's happening in terms of that.
You
Because-
could interpret it as that, like, one
Wait.
way that I could
Hold
see
on, I
it...
have a very funny idea.
What?
Okay, what's your funny idea?
Jessica needs a boyfriend. I'll become the boyfriend.
Base.
You say that's a funny idea. That's one of the ideas.
Yeah.
It's literally... So, there's two ways that I can see it, that you haven't brought up. One is that, if... It reminds me of being in high school and knowing trans people, where they introduce themselves as one person to some people and another person to others. They might be they might
Sure,
say that they're a woman and their name is April to like their teachers, but then to their friends, they are a man and they're canon.
Sure. So, I mean, that was something that I was thinking in my head, but I didn't think, if we're being shown those scenes and we're being told that these are the truth of what happened, I didn't think we were getting into like a metaphorical scene in terms of that kind of stuff for that at this point.
Well,
That's what I was getting
maybe
confused
it's-
about.
I mean,
'cause it
maybe
might still
Vern
be,
was
but-
using the red truth weirdly.
A little
Who knows?
witch's trick. A little witch's
Um,
trick.
The other way is that one way that's really sad. I'm so sorry, Jessica, but you could also see it as like this goes more in depth into like who is canon in relation to Shannon, because we know that Shannon created, or at least the way that Claire tells us, which as we've seen from her guts, not everything Claire told us was. I mean, we saw the whole Yasu thing. We know that Claire's version of events is a bit distorted, just
Yeah.
a tad.
Yeah.
It's a little wrong,
The
little
way
bit of
she
embellishing.
explains, a little embellishing. The way she explains canon is a way to, like, Shannon created a way to basically vent her frustrations. Because, Shannon is the more meeker, milder servant. She's pretty perfect, except, she's clumsy. But she doesn't speak up for herself, and that's what Canon does. He speaks up for her. So that's one way that we hear Canon exist, but you could also kind of see it as like maybe Canon is Jessica projecting onto Shannon, onto this servant that she has known for most of her life. And maybe she does know that that Sayo is not 100% biologically female, and maybe she is projecting like, what if Sayo was a boy? What if they maybe canon? So it
See,
could be also like that.
This is where we get to the point where I just kind of stop thinking.
Why?
Again?
Isn't that fascinating? Like how you could be projected onto other people, and how their gender struggles could be presented as different ways depending on who is looking at the person.
No, that makes me extremely dysphoric, and I don't like the thought.
I'm sorry, that's Umineko no Kukari in a nutshell.
Because, like, I literally do that. My family calls me by my legal name, but whenever I introduce myself to people, I have them call me Andy. But, like, the kind of funny thing is that my legal name is still in the school system. So when I meet a new teacher, if I don't correct them, they just call me my legal name the whole time. Yeah. And then I'll have, like, somebody who does know me as Andy, like, meet the teacher, and they'll be like, why didn't you correct them? And I'll be like, I just didn't want to. It's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Imagine being gender non-conforming. Couldn't be me. Wish it was, though.
I was thinking about those kind of things when it came to once we actually did start confirming Shannon and Canon are actually the same person. And then I started to be like, oh, well, so some of the scenes where we're seeing, especially when we get to the whole Canon's not in the closet. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably because Shannon's now in the closet and things to that effect, or, because they presented it like nobody is actually in the closet, like revealing it, but they're only saying that Canon's not in the closet. And so, things like that
because
is where,
Erica
like,
does not, because Erica is homophobic. She doesn't.
True. Without
That's
love,
what I'm saying.
without love cannot be seen.
But that literally, like, you can, a very literal interpretation of without love, it cannot be seen, can very easily be, if you are bigoted, you cannot understand Umineko.
That's true. That can make sense, yeah. What was the other? There was another bit that I thought, I was reminded of. Oh, yeah. I liked how Battler, when he showed up at the island, was just like, I haven't seen Shannon in ages. I probably said some cringe shit to her in the past. I hear that she's hanging out with George now. Well, I'm kind of a little jealous. Maybe I did like her. Oh well, it's better off without me, probably. Several people are now dead because you were cringe years ago and then you showed back up.
That's also part of why I don't like Beatrice, is because
wow, women can't do anything.
God forbid.
What happened to trans rights and trans wrongs? Go on.
So I said this in chat. I think the thing that kind of pissed me off the most about what Shannon / Sayo did is the fact that, like, they were like 12. Battler was like 12. That's 7th grade.
It was a
I
little
was
boy.
saying stupid shit that I didn't mean in 7th grade because I was a fucking 7th grader. I was in middle school. I was trying to act all cool so that people would like me. Like, I am so genuinely
Okay, hold on.
annoyed that Sayo took what he was saying seriously. Like, I get that it's like, oh, it's like the kid, like children's puppy love, and that's what it's supposed to be. But then it's like, don't base your literal entire existence, not only that, but like your faith in God and religion off of the dumb shit that a 12-year-old said to you when you guys were talking about a book that you like. Like, that's just so irritating to me. It's so dumb. Like, you are actually, like, that's not, oh, cute, like, oh my gosh, they fell in love. That is, you are stupid. Like, wholeheartedly, I say that with my entire chest. You are stupid.
I was trying. Part of that, I was trying to also, because I was thinking something similar to that, but I was also wondering, you know, if the fall had done bad damage to their body. I didn't know, like, the actual extent of it. Like, it sounded like it's probably something physically was hurt, of course.
She thinks she cannot love anymore.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, like, you know, there's probably stuff that happened along with the fall that has also resulted in the mindset that we're having of, like, with this kind of stuff.
Mental illness is an explanation, not an excuse, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the explanation. But like, it's that, but it's also like she's been raised up in this very religious, very servitude position her entire life.
Yep.
And now she knows this terrible truth about herself, you know, her lineage, and she would not have known that had he come along and saved her. So it's also kind of vindictive as well. You can take it as that. There's a lot. My beautiful transgender princess with a million mental disorders.
See, you know what? Maybe it's not that I disagree that Bito did nothing wrong. It's that I want to add the caveat that Battler also did nothing wrong.
True.
He's stupid.
True.
He's a little stupid, and he has a big heart, like a gold heart, and that can be annoying sometimes. But like, you committed a sin, Battler. Dude, he was a child. He was a child, and part of the reason that he came back to the Hiroshima family is because his fucking grandparents died. Like, let's be real here. In the last year that he made up with Rudolph, he's probably dealing with a lot of grief on his own. Like, whether or not Sayo is still into him is not his top priority.
And that's why this is supposed to just be a tragic love story, you know, misunderstandings and all that. That's what it's supposed to be, just a tragic love story, misunderstandings, causing everybody to die from explosion. You know,
Romeo and Juliet!
This is fine. See?
With explosions!
With explosions! Even better! Shadow, what were you going to say? Shadow?
Shadow?
Okay. There's something that was just like completely glossed over. I need to mention now.
All right, what's that?
And I'm sorry in advance.
Okay, what is it?
Andy, were you Battler the whole time?
In what way?
Huh?
In
I
what
don't
way?
have an eating disorder. That's a lie. I don't have an eating disorder.
Damn. Hey, I still haven't seen him eat.
I still haven't seen him eat.
Oh my god.
In fact, I barely even saw him in this episode. He's shown up a couple times.
Didn't include the opening scene where him and Virgilia are at the coffin, so he's like not even here.
I'd like to be Battler, I think. Not in like the emotional to the point of being stupid way, but I think that ultimately he's a good person.
No, I mean, you're saying stupid shit when you're a kid.
Yippee!
We all say so. I'm trying to think. I mean, Battler's life is probably before he dies from this explosion violently. Probably it's just like probably a big long history of saying cringe shit growing up.
Yeah, I think he's still saying cringe shit.
We had a couple of instances of the Hasta La Vista meme, right? Was that him? So, you know, he's a little incompetent, but it's fine. It's fine. Listen. Battler.
Hey, at least he wasn't investing in space hotels yet.
Yes, give him some time. He would have done it. I'm still listen again. I still wanted the epitaph situation to just be Kraus being like, "Hey, I can't figure it out, and I need the gold. So can you guys want to solve the epitaphs together?" But he's like pretending the whole time that there is actually a witch or whatever.
I think it's reasonable to think that maybe he'd have done that. I think it was like Hideyoshi was the one that was like, "Oh, like we need the break. Why don't we do the brain teaser as a way?" But the idea that Kraus was the one that did that to be able to push for them to find the gold, which would also explain why he was so insistent about the fact that he gets half of it at the end.
Yeah,
I think that.
He was arguing for like half of it at a time where he was claiming to not believe it existed too, you know? So it's like... Listen, I'm just saying, okay, Ryukishi should have consulted me, okay? We would have come up with the proper ideas for how to do the epitaph, but instead we got Taiwan railroad maps, like unsolvable bullshit, okay? That's what we got. That's what we got there. All right, we got some YouTube chat messages. Let's see here.
Oh, wait, all the
yeah, what do you got, Chad? What do you got? Is it a long thing? Or?
So it's not that long, but remember Shan said they became Beatrice on November 29th.
Oh yes.
And then okay, and Nyan, thank you for saying the word leaked because I was able to find the screenshot in like 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was trying to remember the what the numbers were. Hold on. Can you I'm trying to find it again. Did you post it in the chat today in the spoiler zone chat, right?
No, it was not today. It was a few days ago.
Oh, it was a few days ago. Okay. What did you search? Leak?
Leet.
Leet?
Oh, yeah, because I was talking about leet speak. At the time, I was like, maybe it's leet speak based on when he was making
okay, I found it. All right, I found it. I'll put it in. Oh. This one right here. These are the numbers from ages ago. I was wondering. I was trying to watch for the numbers, and then I forgot to at some point.
I was on it. Okay.
What did November 29th represent? The day she became Beatrice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 07.
Preparing her ship.
Then July 17th. That's Battler's birthday, right?
Yep.
So yeah, just literally writing down like their ship number, their like birth numbers together is like a typical shipping thing people do, or
in blood.
In blood too, yeah. and like damn, this is like pretty like pretty accurate font writing for blood writing too, I gotta say.
You know, like some people carve the names into a tree. Some people just write your birthdays in blood.
Yeah, it's just a thing that happens. I was sitting here. I was just thinking, like, well, before I get into that, when I looked at the numbers, I was just like, okay, so Battler's date is like one of them, but like this other date, is this all going to be an integral part of like a solution towards like maybe the epitaph or the chapel thing or something like that? No,
I thought.
No, it was just literally like dates to hint towards Battler,
like a message to
I guess.
Battler, yeah.
Even though he probably would have no fucking idea when she became Beatrice, so that part doesn't help, probably. I don't know. Okay. The YouTube chat memes. Let's see here. What we got here? AJ Berg also makes you question how true Kinzo's story about the OG Beto love story can be questionable, really. Yes, I was wondering too. I was like, because I think it also showed the like Italian gold bit a little bit during the like spilling the guts thing too. So I was just thinking like, oh, what was some other shit that happened there? There was probably some other shit there. AJ Berg again, knowing he was the one who set up the shootout. Is that implied what's there? Ushirome, you sick coward.
The gold shootouts.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was suspecting something weird earlier. I remember now. I don't think I mentioned in the week we talked about the gold shootout. The dud grenade. That, okay. I knew that was sus, and I completely forgot to bring that up. I was like, a dud grenade. Huh, that's convenient before the shootout starts. So, okay, now it's making more sense. All right.
What are we
even
implying when we
accuses
say
him.
that?
We're implying that Kinzo threw a dud grenade in there to start everything.
And that guy accuses him of it later.
Yes, I remember. Okay, now it's making sense. I can't believe I completely forgot to bring that up that week. Okay, all right. So, okay, so that's AJ Berg. Min Mod, Beatrice is his mommy, not his mother.
True.
The world gaslit her, so she'll gaslight the world. She just scruffled her hair a little bit. Jessica was longtime friends with Shannon, too. Think about it. I think this is when we were talking about how Jessica was dating Cannon and all that. Okay, all right.
Plus, yeah, I think like in Claire's telling of Yasu's story, Yasu / Cannon and Jessica went to school together.
Yes. Minmod, remember Jessica's story about how she didn't want to investigate the guest room mystery. She knew the servants were hiding something, but didn't want to think about it. This might be why she lost the trial. George, however, kept bringing up their future together as a family. Shannon is just as fake as Canon IMO. It's a more fully realized OC, but still an OC. There's a little joke about Jessica being a lesbian in one of the side stories, LOL. We'll go into some of we'll go into some of the bonus memes in a bit.
I think George is the only straight one, and he's homophobic.
Using a non-legal name isn't even legal in some states now. How Umineko, Human versus Society. By the way, here's another twist. The man from 19 years ago was originally meant to be a male Virgilius character who was also the original Erica, so a very critical male persona. It was not presented as completely healthy, but traumatized. Think of how much George pushed the idea of having kids with her. AJ Berg, it was simply a tragedy. And then Minmod, Sayo understood Battler's family drama too. It was the irrational side of her who rose up inside of her. Remember, Sayo isn't, quote, Beatrice either. Minmod, I think it's sad that I thought if the family just worked together, they'd all be happy, but it wasn't fucking true at all.
That's how I'm gonna write my fic. Okay, they worked together and they were happy in the end. So that I
Will would be so
on
proud.
Battler having an eating disorder.
Will would be so proud, at least, of the happy. He probably wouldn't like the eating disorder bit, but he'd be happy that they all had a happy.
You know
ending.
what? Will is a cooler version of Battler. He also has an eating disorder. Okay.
What?
Because I said so.
What? But he's got a cat. He's got to watch over the cat.
Yeah, exactly. All the food goes to the cat.
Don't kill the cat. If you kill Will from his eating disorder, he's not going to be able to feed the cat.
I'm not going to kill them from the eating disorder, okay?
He's going to die. You got to feed him.
Sick.
Bro, Will is big, okay? Will is big dude. He needs food, all right? He needs it.
Well, that sucks, because he's not going to want to eat it.
He needs it, all right? Okay, Minmod, I think it's sad that I thought... I already read that one. AJ Berg, no miracle could have saved even everyone either. Minmod, the burning, violent spirit of Beatrice, useful and immature and wildly creative, is also another instance of artistry. Shannon wants a responsible, working, and love life. Beatrice wants to ruin it. Yasu / Sayo doesn't exist in the VN at all, not even as a sprite, only by connecting the patterns between all the other stories. Ooh.
That's why I posted a screenshot a little bit ago of like Beto with several times in this these chapters. It was Beto and Shannon and Cannon together. It's just like you get none of that in the VN. So it is just like it like compared to the VN, the manga is beating you with hammers, telling you who the culprit is.
Let's beat him with hammers. Okay. All right, and we're caught up on all
I
the
was gonna make
chats.
a joke. Hold on. What was the last message that you read?
Yasu Sayo don't exist in the VN even as a sprite. They're just connecting patterns or whatever. You don't see them in the VN.
Oh,
You don't see them.
what you're telling me is that all of the 200 OCs that I have in my head are just alternate versions of me.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Actually.
I don't like that.
You're just like, wait, was I Maria and Shannon in the Maria and Sayo in the Tea Party thing, just coming up with OCs of myself the whole time? Was that me?
Some of these characters in my head should not be actualized.
Somebody should have told her that.
It's okay.
No one was around to
okay.
supervise her OC creation.
It's okay. It's fine. They're lost in some other fragments. Okay, that's not this fragment. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good for now. All right. Let's talk about the bonus memes. Oh wait, hold on. Did we the Battler scene at the end? He shows up for Anjay and just says it's you know, I'll tell you the story of what actually happened. It's not a painful story or scary one at all. It's just you know, it's not a scary story at all. It's just gonna be like a little party or whatever, right? Is that what they said or something? But
Yeah.
so
He's gonna
supposedly
tell her the truth of what happened.
the
on
final
mission.
game just for Anjay is what is said at the very end. So I don't know if so episode 8 is Twilight of the Golden Witch, but it's presented as if, as we said earlier, Burncastle has the final story to tell and Battler has a final story to tell. I don't know if they'll be the same story. I don't know if it'll be a battle of stories. I have no idea. But Anjay's gonna get a happy ending, whereas Burncastle is gonna get they're gonna present to us a not happy ending. I think it was just said that it's not going to be a happy ending. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm very interested to see how they're going to present it for the grand finale of things. I'm very interested to see.
Chap, I don't want to rush you, but my cat is
Yes,
telling
I
me that
understand.
it's time to go to bed. Okay.
Is that Burncastle? Burncastle's telling you that?
Yeah.
Or is that?
It's time to go to bed.
I still think about that one video, the Burncastle Featherine. I'm gonna put my cat on the phone, and it's just Burncastle going, meow! Shut the fuck up! What the fuck?
The one downside of daylight savings time ending is that it's 10 p.m. for me right now.
Yeah, I know, I understand. All right, let's just go over the bonus memes real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. So the bonus memes. All right, wait, before I go.
Comments. Go on to the bonus memes.
Wait, what were you saying? Wait, what?
Go on to the bonus memes.
All right. So first of all, I'll read the afterword from Ryukishi. Umineko When They Cry, Episode 7, Requiem of the Golden Witch. Hello, I am Ryukishi07. Thank you for reading the final volume of Episode 7 of Umineko When They Cry. This means only Episode 8 is left. This very long journey will soon come to an end. Thank you to everyone who's been following all along. And to Mizuno-sensei and the editors. I would really appreciate it if you stuck with us to the end. Would it be too forward of me to get you all to agree that the way Mizuno-sensei drew Will and Lion is just fantastic? Not only do I love them in the main story, I have to admit I'm enraptured by the chill post-volume bonus strips about Will, Lion, and Claire. I love them so much, I almost wish Mizuno-sensei could keep going after this. Just drawing them like that. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful series, Mizuno-sensei. You'll have noticed that many answers were provided to the Umineko story in this arc, but finding the right balance of giving out major answers and holding back some to see the reader's theories about the remaining mystery was a major challenge for me when I was originally writing this material. I think it must have been just as hard for Mizuno-sensei to depict this in the comic medium. Again, I must express my gratitude for this Herculean task. Thank you so much, Mizuno-sensei. Also, the full cast of characters in Episode 7 is considerable, even by this story's standards. I'm sure it must have been a huge challenge to draw so many different characters. I am certain that all of the episodes of Umineko Episode 7 must have been one of the most difficult to depict visually. So there's no way I can possibly express my full gratitude to Mizuno-sensei for handling it with such incredible skill, grace, and love. I'm very happy about the decision to give this one to Mizuno-sensei. At this point when I was reading, I was like, okay, all right, we've shouted out Mizuno-sensei like 7 times already. Jesus, okay. I'd also like to repeat my thanks to you readers for coming so far on this journey with me. I hope I'm able to speak with you again in the final volume of Episode 8. Thank you all. And that was the Ryukishi afterword for this week. There's a lot of praise for Mizuno-sensei. It was getting to a point where I was like, is he trying to compensate for something? Have they been getting like bad feedback?
Yeah.
I was like thinking like, has Mizuno-sensei's like art been getting flack online, and Ryukishi wanted to be like, guys, I actually liked it. It was good. I think we also had mentioned
liked it.
And I think we had also mentioned in the chat, I think Minmod brought it up too, where it was like, there's Episode 7 for the manga, at least, is the longest one. And there is a shit ton of characters that have to be presented in both like fantastical ways and real ways or whatever. It is a massive cast compared to all the other episodes because we have like all of the characters plus different versions of the characters and all that. And the 3 new characters, 4. There's a lot of new characters even in this, and it's like
There's a lot.
You know, in some ways, when it comes to like this, like the sibling scenes and like the quality of art in like some of the scenes, where it's like I can't really blame it when there's this much that they had to do for this. I can blame them for the chess meme. Okay, please just learn how a chessboard works. I'm begging you. Anyways,
Oh
I'm
my
just
God.
joking. I'm just joking about that. I'm just joking. But no, yes, there was a lot. So, you know, any issues that happened with this volumes at times, I don't like I said when I was reading it, I didn't mind it as much at the time because there's a lot going on. My main issue with this episode was mostly a lot of the stuff from last week's reading, where the epitaph solution ended up being convolutedly stupid, and we were taking forever when it came to the metaphorical play to just tell us the thing that we already knew, that Sayo/Yasu is Shannon. It took us forever to get there with that when we already knew that shit. And I was like, when is this going to continue with this shit? Like things like that. So, and those things I don't blame on the manga artist. Those things are mostly just a Ryukishi thing, I'm assuming, because that's probably how it was presented with those kind of things. I don't know, but you know, so that's just how it goes with that. Bonus meme comics.
I posted 2 of them.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. Let's see.
They were out for my throat. These are my case.
So you were saying things about how this comic should not have been shown yet, right? This one. You were saying this shouldn't have been shown yet.
Yeah, because I mean, look at it. It's
So-
showing them living.
Well, so I will say, I would not have thought that this was a spoiler about what had happened with them until you mentioned that they shouldn't have shown it yet. Because I was just assuming bonus meme. This is a happy little what if. I would have just assumed that because I just had no clue what their fate was going to be anyways.
And see, I said that because Andy specifically is like, wait, they were supposed to die? Wait, we were supposed to think they were dead? What?
I was thinking
because-
the same thing.
Because I didn't think that. Because I didn't think that. Again, I mentioned this in the chat too. I didn't register the whole them knocking off the chess pieces, being Sabong and them dying. 1, because we don't actually see them die. 2,
That's what I'm saying. We don't
2,
see a light!
exactly. 2, because I'm also just like I've never been paying attention to the metaphorical chess shit because they don't know how chess works, so they don't understand the metaphorical bullshit that they're even doing. So anytime that they do it, I don't even trust it. And again, these are things that I know the VN didn't do. So I'm not trusting the thing that I'm seeing visually to showcase what was supposed to be happening. Did the VN, when that scene happened, did it say that they knocked off 2 pieces of the chessboard? Was that a thing that they said in the VN?
So.
Okay,
I think
well,
so.
listen.
It's supposed to, it fades to black of like the kitties are around them. They're surrounded. They're bleeding out.
No, they're not. They're fine.
They're
anyway,
fine. They're fine.
here's
They show up for the big
okay.
party at the end. So okay, so that comic happened, whereas like Lion, Will, and Claire just all living together, hanging out. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad will ever happen to them. It's fine. Everything's fine. And what was the other one you posted?
The other one was where Lion's hair tie falls out, so Claire starts putting up their hair like Beto's. And I guess Will assumes that Lion wants to look like Beto, so he's like, well, why don't we just get you the dress? And Lion's like, whoa, 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 and then he says it looks pretty good on you.
You were dying.
You cannot explain Umineko in a cis-hetero perspective.
And then we got
I don't think you were meant to ever.
and then we got a
You
little.
weren't.
Then we got a little Delanor bit. We got a little Delanor.
Little child, little kid.
Creepy.
underneath the massive lad that is Will. All right,
So
massive.
big.
It's so funny seeing them beside each other with like their actual heights.
Like he has to
'Cause, like,
hunch
it-
down. Yeah.
Because like in the VN, literally everybody except for like Madia, the tiniest of the children are the same height. So like with Lion and Will, they're the same height, but then like you see them in the manga and it's like a foot difference.
Difference between 6'11" and 7 feet.
What was the? There was another bonus meme I bookmarked. I will find this one. Hold on. I will find this bookmark. It is a funny bookmark. It was about Lion. I remember that.
As it should be.
Was it this one? Was it this one? No. That's Will saying when you own a cat, it starts to resemble. Here it is. Here it is. It was Anjay and Lion. That's what it was. They're in the theater together, and Anjay's just like, "Hey, are you a guy or a girl?" So it was one of those bits again, looking at Lion, and Lion's just, "Well, which do I look like to you?" And Anjay's just like, "Whether you're a man or a woman, you're underwhelming."
That was wild.
and Lion was like, "I'm gonna kill you." It was like getting ready to pinch. But then they were still shackled, so it couldn't happen. I was like, all right, that's a good fit. I was like, damn, that's brutal. You're underwhelming. I was like, reading that scene, I was like, this is how I imagined Andy referring to Shannon. Just,
Yeah.
listen.
In my version, it says, be a boy or a girl, you're lacking something.
You're lacking
Damn.
something? Damn.
That's
He's
creepy.
transphobic. It's okay.
All right. Any other memes we want to bring up before we wrap it up for tonight?
I have a few closing thoughts I will try to make quick.
Okay, say closing thoughts, and then we'll read the comments or the chat messages, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yippee!
What do you got?
Okay. So the one quick note, the book at the beginning of episode 7 that we actually don't see in the manga. It's a book that Battler and Virgilia left at the coffin. That, as Will says, is a book that Battler created specifically for Bito. That is the happiest possible tale that he could have created, that he could have envisioned for his wife, Bito. However, that is not the happiest possible tale for Bito, because the happiest possible tale for Bito is Lion. So, even the happiest possible outcome that Battler can imagine, he can't, because it's not Bito, it's Lion. And episode 7 is pretty interesting because, all of them are interesting. But with this one, especially, it's not presented to you as like the previous episodes where you can see it from a fantasy perspective and a more realistic perspective. Whereas like episode 6, we see the fantasy perspective of Anjay being shown the events through Featherine. The witch has invited her to the game. But we see the more possible realistic version where Anjay finds a writer who has just written up this fake story about her family. And we don't get that kind of fantasy versus reality with episode 7, but if we were to apply it, you could interpret some of these events as possibly like Yasu being the personification of Sayo as someone who is coming forth with her guilt, namely Claire, coming forth with her guilt and kind of trying to and confess her sins to someone who is more religious than herself, who would be Will, an angel sent from heaven, who is specifically an inquisitor, someone who is here to hunt down witches. And she's confessing her sins to him and trying to kind of cleanse herself, basically. More religious symbolism. And as part of that, his guide is the kind of perfect version of herself that she is envisioned. And you can also there's different ways you can kind of interpret Leon. If we go with the version that Leon is a person that does exist in some kind of world, then that's what they are. It's pretty cool that even in the perfect version of Bito's world, she is still in some way kind of queer, because we see that Leon is gender nonconforming and does not ever give us a true gender for themselves, despite we know they're probably assigned male at birth, but yet they don't give us their gender, which isn't kind of an odd thing to do if you're a man in 1986, you know,
Right.
in a very masculine role. Or we can take it from a different perspective where, again, maybe all of episode 7 is part of Claire's kind of dream world, where alongside this emissary from heaven, there is this perfect idealized version of herself. And even in this perfect idealized version, she still has to identify as some kind of form of queer. She cannot imagine herself as anything other than not being completely cis. So there's different ways you can kind of see all of these things. And I think that's all I had to say. I like it.
I just think it's neat. I think Umineko.
It's neat.
I think Umineko when they cry is a neat little story, a little neat little writing prompt that Ryukoshi attempted at some
Very
point.
obscure.
It's neat. I think it's neat. Okay, what do we got here? YouTube chat. We got Minmod again. You can only see the true suffering in the world by looking outside society, reading in between the lines. True suffering is invisible. The way Umineko is written, like an epistemological dialogue. It's literally different voices debating each other in your head. So all the characters are basically alt personas of Ryukoshi. Yes, Sayo's story is over. Now, like with the finale of the Answers arc, we now return to Anjay, the possibilities of the future rather than the coffin of the past. And then this has been on saying goodnight back when you were saying that your cat's telling you to go to bed. And then Minmon going, I'm sorry I write too much. I love Umineko. Listen, we appreciate all your analyses in the chat, even if we don't address them right away. They're all very nice, and I read them as they come by, but I don't address them until we get a time in the thing. AJ Berg, because all the bonus memes have been completely factual. Anjay has a Battler car. I completely forgot about the Battler car. The family played board games together. I forgot all about that too. Minmod, very good analysis, I think. It's a confession, and Will is the objective witness. Lion's continuing gender complex is crazy, even in the perfect timeline. I take it as, even if it's a dream, society still has shackles on her. A perfect self may exist, but not a perfect world yet.
Yes, and going off that, specifically, the emissary from heaven is an idealized version of the person she loved most, Battler. Because Will is directly an idealized version of Battler. And also, with Lion, like, at the funeral, Byrne has twisted the fragments so that none of the characters actually address Lion with any pronouns. That is just an ongoing thing, that none of them address them with pronouns. So, but then we go back to their actual fragment and we see I wasn't really that happy-go-lucky because even Kraus did not fully accept them as the successor. So even in that perfect world, they still have to struggle. There's still some struggles, and, they openly admit to having some form of gender dysphoria, of having some kind of gender complex. So,
I can't believe it was a trans allegory the whole fucking time.
Umineko no Kokorori is a trans narrative. I'm sorry.
Listen,
how did I call this back in July?
I have that post saved. Let me grab it.
I will say
Every
too.
so often I go back to Violet and say, dude, it was a trans allegory the whole time.
Well, while you go to get that, I will say when you mention like Will is the idealized version of Battler, when I hear you say that, I'm just picturing the sticker we have now, this image, the never forget the heart.
Never forget the
Idealized Battler. This is the ideal Battler. You may not like it, but this is
this is
true.
the Battler performance.
Oh, and also, now that we know the full culprit, you posted
me.
something months ago that was
God.
huge spoilers.
What did I do?
You posted this. Show it on stream.
Hold on, what did I do?
Oh no.
I see. Okay.
You
Okay.
get it now?
Yeah, I get it now.
Hold on, let me show on the stream here and I'll read it. Sorry for my English, and that's canon. Sorry for my poor language, that's Shannon. Pardon me for my poor choice of words, that's Lion. Well, did I post this before we found Lion? I didn't know who that was.
You posted this like in episode 3 or something.
I think I might have posted this thinking that was like Natsuhi for some reason, or some other member that like Rosa. I think I thought that might have been Rosa. I wasn't sure. I didn't think
It's
it was a
okay.
completely new character later on.
I
But
sent Ari a diagram that we can mostly look at, but I've been told to not send it to the main chat yet.
Do not send it yet.
That I think about like every day. Like every single time that we talk, I think about it. And you guys will know why when I can send it. but-
okay. And then the last one on the meme is Beatrice going, if I make a mistake in English, please don't correct me. I have no respect for this language.
It's each of the Psyos, their different reactions to it. I
Okay.
censored the names, but
Okay, let's see here. I'll show it.
I think about that constantly.
Unfortunately, Umineko is not a trans allegory. Sad, react, fucked up. At least I don't think it is.
I sent this to friends.
You posted it on Twitter. I think I retweeted it a couple
I
times.
didn't notice at first. There's like a Beatrice in the background of this. Hold on,
Let me
get
see.
zoom
Oh,
in.
Let
yeah.
me see when I
Is it-
sent that to Violet real
Oh
quick.
yeah.
When I move around the Beatrice like this on my other monitor, it makes it look like Beatrice is like parallaxing within the image. It's very concerning.
I sent that to Violet, who's my best friend, on July 25th.
You need to just reply. You're not gonna believe this.
I think I've said it a couple times before.
Okay, let me read through the rest of the YouTube chat stuff again. So, Lines continuing general. All right, I read that one. Ryukushi has, this is Minmon. Ryukushi has many criticisms of society. A.G. Bird goes, the dream world of Lion is still just a part of the same cage, the narration from Vienne says. And then Minma goes, what exists outside of the cage? Question mark.
Me.
And then
They may be the perfect successor, but they're still a gender non-conforming person in 1986. So good luck.
And then Minmod wrote, I think this is when I showed the Will sticker or whatever, it wrote Wall White. Instead of like Will Wright, it's like Wall White. Okay. So we did it, gamers. We finally finished episode 7, Requiem of the Golden Witch. Whew. The longest episode yet. This next one's also pretty lengthy. I don't think it's supposed to be as long as the one that we just read, though. But I think it still is pretty sizable, I think. I could be wrong, though. I don't remember what the page numbers look like. But it's still one of those memes where it's like 3 volumes a week still for the omnibuses. So we have 3 more weeks of Umineko. We will be done with Umineko by the end of this month. Which I think the last day that we meet for it is going to be on Thanksgiving. So I don't know if we're going to meet on Thanksgiving or a couple days afterwards. But either way, this is going to be done like this month probably. What'd you say, Shadow?
It's the 28th. That's the day of the last thing, which is
Oh
very
shit. I have been informed by my mother to let you know that it needs to be moved. I will not be available on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Hey, guys,
I figured we were gonna have what?
Can we move it to Friday? Because it's Beatrice's birthday.
I don't know if I will be around Friday. Friday nights I'm usually not good.
Game night.
That's usually game night with the boys. Specifically, Umineko Cthulhu Night with the boys these days. So, I don't know. I'll let you guys know, though, because there might be a thing where we're not actually going to meet on that Friday. If we can meet on that Friday, that would actually be great. But if not, it's probably the day afterwards, Saturday. Most likely. We'll figure that out. But we are almost there. So we are done with our discussion of episode 7. This game, this version of the events, done. Now we move on to the next iteration. Episode 8, Twilight of the Golden Witch. Will it be a happy little ending where it's not scary at all? Everybody's just, just having a little party together? Or will it be the most miserable time ever? Either way, something's blowing up. There's explosions happening. We know this. There will be an explosion.
Spoilers.
But will it be a literal explosion or a metaphorical explosion of happiness? Are we all going to be happy?
All right,
Will everybody survive?
Weird.
Where is your
Say
head
wrap
at?
it up.
Where is your head at? Okay, you're listen. You gotta,
My head is on my fucking pillow. I'm going eepy right now.
Listen. Everybody's gonna have a happy ending. Nobody's gonna die. It's gonna be like that theory I said before, where they all just fake their deaths to get out of debt, and then everybody lives happily ever after. Nobody dies. Nobody has to die. The gold's useless anyways. We've established this, so there's no need to kill each other. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next week to find out what is happening in episode 8, Twilight of the Golden Witch. We're reading, how many chapters are we reading? Let me find the thing. We'll say this and then we'll wrap this up. Where's the reading list image that I have on here? Here we go. We will be reading first 3 volumes, so it goes to chapter 15. So read those by then, and we will have our discussion. And we will see you all next week at the usual time, 9 o'clock. See you guys then. Stay safe, gamers. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Join our Discord if you want to join in on the book club discussions actively on there. We got the best memes over there. Post your Umineko memes, just not the spoiler ones. And we will see you next week. Goodbye, stream. Goodbye.